You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast number 102 with Dino and Westham. How you boys doing this fine afternoon for you guys, morning for me?
I'm letting him go first.
Yeah, doing pretty good, thank you.
Hell yeah. Westham?
I've just watched Dino have a meltdown for about 5 hours, so I'm doing as good as I ever could be.
Man, it's been 30 seconds and it's already...
So let's explain this to people that haven't seen it. Now, I know like the vast majority of I can't even say the majority, but a lot of people that watch content creators know of the RuneScape Chronicles channel that highlighted the whole cannon glitch. Has that just been in the game forever and people just discovered it and now people are abusing the hell out of it?
No, so apparently they changed it a while back because supposedly before you couldn't place down a cannon when you were in combat. And then something about like, I think PVMers wanted a change of that. And so they fixed it and made it so that you could place it in combat. But I guess, I don't know. I don't know how long ago that was. I'm just assuming it didn't take like that long for PKs to find out.
Interesting.
So before you couldn't just place it down, but now you can, I guess, because of that change.
And your player just goes in a random direction. It's impossible to anticipate.
I think so, right, Dino?
Yeah, there's something with an emote with it as well, isn't there? Or...
Yeah, if you do an emote beforehand, I think it guarantees that you place it down. Whilst if you don't, it's like a... You're still likely to place it down, it's just not guaranteed.
okay.
I see. Is there a certain emote you have to do or just any?
I think it's just any. It would be kind of funny if you had to do like just a specific one.
So you two aren't allowed to do it on stream, but everyone else, it's fair game, correct?
Honestly.
Okay, now we're trying into deep water straight away.
Yeah.
But like, when it comes to bug abuse, I kind of got like, I don't know, I got a bit of a slap on the wrist for a while back because of the Ancient God Sword. So there was like a little bit of a bug with the Ancient God Sword where like you could spec someone and then before the 25 hits, another player could PJ and then like right on the tick that they hit the person, the 25 would appear and then it would be back to my combat, if that makes sense. So you'd get like 3 hits in something like, I don't know, 2 ticks. So I got a slap on the wrist because I killed a chin hunter with that when me and Pip did it, and I got a 2-week ban. Ooh. And my lesson learned from that was, if other people are doing something and they're getting away with it, that does not mean content creators are gonna get away with it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's just like as content creators, we kind of like have to stay on the safe side because you don't really want to risk it and just take a ban for nothing, right?
Yeah, of course. Now, is the cannon, like, just objectively for you guys, is it okay that that's in the game? Like, if everybody could do it, would that be okay? Or is it a severe problem that needs to be resolved immediately?
I wouldn't actually mind it being in the game. I don't know. I'm not like for or against it really. It makes it a lot harder to escape. So it depends what way you look at that. But it's not great at the moment. The last 4 fights I had on stream in the last hour, different people were all using it against me, and I just have to sit there and take it because I can't use it. And yeah, it's not the best.
Because, like, flowers were never intentional. Like, that was never supposed to be a PvP item, but now it just is, and people are used to it. So I was just wondering, like, a cannon, that's actual risk you're bringing. I know it's just, like, what, 200k, but it's still something to risk.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it's like, obviously, we can only go off of what we're told. I think this is what Dino was trying to relay the entire stream as well, was like...
I'm still having nightmares about it.
we can only go off of what we're told, right? Like, if JMod said that mithril seeds are fine, then mithril seeds are fine. If the cannon is not fine, then the cannon is not fine. Like, I think we could probably, like, argue that, like, the cannon works like a similar way to mithril seeds. I'd say the cannon is a bit more overpowered, though, because it's unpredictable. But obviously neither of them were like an intentional game mechanic, but here we are. It's up to the game developers to decide, not us.
Yeah, I had a solid 5 hours of everyone on my Twitch chat being like, it's the same as seeds, it is allowed. And I'm just sitting there like, I've literally been told it's not. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, it gets very tiring.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. Oh god. Yeah, we were just talking about like being I was mentioning before we started recording how like the handful of times I've been out in the wilderness on stream have been the most stressful and irritating streams I have ever encountered. And yeah, props to you both for just dealing with it. How do you guys deal with being in the wilderness? Dino being one of the most consistent streamers as well, being out there day after day, just taking, a beat. But you're delivering the beating, but you're also taking a beating nonstop.
Oh no, the last few months it's just been taking the beating. Don't you worry. No, it never used to be bad. It seems like it's just got a lot worse in the last couple of months. I don't know why, but like it seems like before you'd have a fight, and it was calm. You say good fight, it was a bit of fun. Whereas now every fight you have, it's like everyone's life depends on it. But like I don't know. It's like everyone seems very aggy against each other these days, and yeah, it is getting hard because like every fight leads to some sort of drama, and then you get ragged for it. It's not straightforward anymore. I don't know. I don't know what's happened, but I'm hoping this update's coming soon changes it, but I'm not sure.
I think a large portion of the problem recently has been like the attitude and like mentality of PKs, because I don't know what it is, bro, but I feel like it's just been a lot more toxic lately than what it was in the past. That being said, obviously PKing has always been toxic to an extent. It's just lately I feel like you do one wrong thing that will piss someone off, and as a streamer you're immediately ragged.
Yeah, it's just it's the mindset as well now. Like you'll be fighting someone, and maybe it's because everyone's older. They know now. Like once they've used their spec, what's the point in staying? So they'll just be like spec tabbers. They'll be if someone hits a 0 with an ancient god sword, they run. And there's a lot of like little things that go into it at the moment that is like on its own isn't bad, but obviously when you're streaming every day and the same things happen every day, it just builds up to the point where you start I start freaking out anyway. Casper does quite good to keep it under control.
Yeah, I typically, I think I just switch. If something's pissing me off, I try to just switch content. Like, I don't know. If something isn't working, I'll try to do something else and hope that works out. But obviously, it all like yesterday, for example, I rage ended stream because shit just wasn't going my way.
Yeah,
like some days you just have bad days, and it is what it is.
I was gonna ask, what is the best way to resolve somebody ragging you? Is it just switch content, or is there another healthy way to go about it?
I think me and Dino both have the same mentality of like, there's some people that you can, like try to, what's the word? Like make amends with.
Negotiate.
I think, like negotiate. You understand sometimes why someone is ragging you, but lately I kind of feel like I've just been bolted by, I don't know, like people that I don't know. I have no idea what I did to them, so it's kind of just like, well. I don't know what I can do about this situation. I think as a streamer, if you don't want to get ragged, the best thing to do is probably just not give a reaction, right? But some people will rag you nonetheless, and at that point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, my mindset now has just gone to flame them back and then be surprised when it gets worse.
I love it. Okay, so this Wednesday, so this episode will be out tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and the following day. So for those listening, when this is coming out tomorrow, we're having the big wilderness update, including the new revamped wilderness bosses. Are you guys looking forward to that or what? I'm excited personally.
100%. It's been the first actual bit of wildy content we've had in such a long time. I don't know the exact numbers, so I don't want to say it, and then people be like, he's wrong.
Yeah.
But it feels like, obviously Rev Cave, but if you're not counting the Rev Cave, because it is it used to be kind of different, like the mechanics and stuff. As far as actual wilderness, this has been the first thing in a long time. Yes, I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with Dino there. I feel like the other updates that we've gotten were like updates, but they didn't really feel like they changed much. Like the Rev Cave boss, for example, was like a quote unquote PvP update, right? But like what did it really change for us? Like, not much, to be honest. This is like the one thing that I feel like is like a proper PvP update that could change for the better how the wilderness is, or for the worse. We have no idea yet.
Yeah, for sure. There's always something exciting about new wilderness stuff because people run out there and have no idea what to expect. Obviously, we have an idea of what to expect, but like it's just fun being in a new environment, new stuff, new monsters, new loot, and nobody knows like the proper escapes, nobody knows how to what stuff to bring. It seems to be a lot of fun when new updates are like first hit. So
yeah, I think the new PvP bosses are gonna have like quite interesting escape mechanics as well. If I remember correctly, they're gonna each have like their own separate cave and stuff like that, and the cave can have like 4 different exits or some shit. It's been a while since I read it, but I know for a fact it was quite interesting when I read it.
Yeah, and also I'm not fully sure on this. Apparently, this was pulled as I believe singles. I think just normal singles, and now it's going to be singles plus, or vice versa. What is the case? Do you guys know?
The actual bosses are going to be multi, like the main bosses.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the like singles version, which I think is going to be the same as Rev Caves, which is I don't even know what they call it. It's classed as PJ timer, isn't it? Or
what is?
Like the current Rev Caves, or is that singles plus?
I think that's just singles plus now. I think everything is just singles plus.
I know there was a time where there was a difference between PJ timer, singles plus, and I'd be so confused. Like,
oh yeah, no, I think you're right. I think single plus means that if a player is like engaging with an NPC, you can PJ them. Whilst in the regular wilderness, we just have a different PJ timer because you can't PJ someone off of a monster.
Right. So I think the singles versions of the cave that are coming out, I think it's going to be the same as Revs. So I think you can PJ them off.
Okay. Wow. Yeah,
I guess confusing, man.
Yeah, literally. Well, me and Casper literally do this every day, and since they changed that update, I still have no idea what some of the stuff means. Like
that is so funny.
It's a lot more confusing than it used to be.
That like players that dedicate their content to the wilderness are still confused about like what the hell is happening out there.
We used to have like so many different types of like
I
don't know, like PJ mechanic changes that just I don't know. I can barely remember what half of them fucking mean.
Yeah, is that a problem? Okay, also is just is the overarching problem of just the wilderness being completely different than outside of the wilderness. Is that a problem? I know for people that dedicate their content or just their game style to being in the wilderness, they probably don't see it as that big of a deal because they're just used to it. But for the average player that goes out there, they're going to have no idea what's happening. Is that a problem?
You take it.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I guess so to a degree, but like it's always been the same, right? Even like before all the updates, like even back, well, since the game's been out, it's always been the wilderness. But it just seems lately people have been like having a real issue with it, right? I'm not sure what changed. I guess people just. I mean, it's natural, right? You go and do something, you don't want to get attacked, but that is just kind of part of. It's always been part of the game. I don't know why the sudden like massive change in attitude.
I think part of it is the anticipation like for like years down the road in the game, because like right now we're at the point where weapons are so destructive, like they can literally just one shot you some of the time, obviously rarely, but like at what point is the wilderness I don't know. I worry about PvP in the future because of our cap at 99 HP and because of like how busted weapons are becoming, and they need to keep making different alterations just to make sure things are balanced, which then gets confusing when you're outside of the wilderness. I don't know.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I think if you compare, like, I don't know, obviously the whole like single plus update was something that was like heavily controversial in the PvP community. There's a lot of people that still think that like they should remove it and just go back to what we had before. And I don't know, I just don't think it's possible anymore. I think you would have to make so many changes to like the amount of damage that you do with the new weapons for that to even work.
Yeah.
Like some of the DPS that you can do in this new like crystal, like ancestral with the ward, volatile, all of that stuff, it's too much.
100%. Yeah, I was massively. Oh, everyone knows I'm massively against the PJ Timer update. Like, I loved it how it was, but if just say they reverted it like tomorrow, but with all the current items, it wouldn't work. Like you wouldn't be able to survive anything. With the Crystal, Ancient God Sword, Light Bearer, it's you would not be able to tank anything. So it's kind of like gone too far to the point where like there's no going back now, which kind of accepting. But
yeah, is it time for? Okay, let me not say is it time. It's can you guys accept or see or maybe just kind of give your insight as to whether it would be healthy for the game to raise potentially HP cap? Again, this has not even been a discussion that anybody's talked about. It's coming out of my mind just right now. I feel like there will be a time where like things need to either get nerfed or we need to get like more HP or something, because I feel like you can just kill somebody at full HP pretty easily nowadays. Is that a problem, or is it okay where we're at and 99 HP should just be like whatever?
I think if a person is 115 HP, it's still very hard to hit 115. Arguably, you can do it in quite like quote unquote cheap gear nowadays, but it's still like one of those like I don't know, it's probably like a 1 in 100 to actually hit it. So I don't think we need to raise HP just yet. I do think at some point we are gonna have to like look at certain items and like tweak the DPS of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think one-shotting people is the biggest issue right now. I think the biggest issue is like how much damage you can do in a small amount of time, rather than like,
okay,
are you able to hit a 115 or not?
yeah, the 115, like Casper said, you can do it, but the chances of actually doing it are very, very rare. Like to AGS more 180-41. I'm hoping my maths is right there. If not, it's horrendous. Equally though, to what Casper said, it's a hard one to balance because if you know, you're saying like you deal too much damage now. If you was to get a max gear and go to the Rev Caves and say you're just attacking a PVMer, it's actually really hard to kill one. And I don't think it's just me being like really bad, but like because they'll always get half TB and they always have full food. You can be in max gear and they will still tank you a lot of the time. And I don't know. I kind of think if you nerf DPS from that respect, then PVMers are going to be way too strong as far as like being able to tank everything. You know, it's a different situation when it's a PK on PK compared to PK on PVMer because they're very different fights.
Yeah, when someone's geared up to like fight back, they have to very often sacrifice a lot of the defensive stuff in order to get like stuff that's actually good offensively as well. Whilst if you're only attacking someone that has nothing but defensive stuff, I feel like the scenario is very, very different. Like a PVMer probably has a way easier time not taking damage than what a PKer does.
Yeah, you just look at revs. Like the revs deal 0 damage to people, right? To the PVMers, and they drop food. So if you attack a PVM at revs, they're always going to be on full supplies because they don't drain any while PVMing. They might have more on the floor, and they've also got the agility jumps, and there's a lot of things in favor of the PVMer. Like the PK has to do everything perfect to have a chance at killing someone.
Yeah,
That's
the Rev
true.
Cave is a difficult place, I feel like, because it is very noob friendly, but at the same time, like if you're a person that can tank somewhat well, I feel like it's very, very hard to die there, right? Whilst a noob is probably still going to struggle a lot.
Yeah, that's true. It just takes practice. I mean, that's how it should be, to be honest. If you go out there and you've had no experience tanking PK, you probably should die.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I remember hearing something. It was probably on Reddit, so just take it with a grain of salt. But would it be appropriate if what's the prayer called? Protect item was not an option if you were Scold. So like anybody that's out there that's Scold cannot even protect one item. So I'm not talking like right now, but like in the future, could that be a counter to potential power creep? That I don't know. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Should protect item always be a thing, and just everybody should always have a super OP item that they can just almost guarantee protect?
I've never really thought about that. Not gonna lie.
I think I like protect item because again, you got to think of like the mediocre PKer who's coming up into like a Mystic set and an AGS.
Oh yeah,
If
that's
he's
true.
not allowed that AGS,
Yeah.
he's not killing anyone. Like
That's true. And it's more fun bringing a really fun busted item,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, and equally, I would say the hard part again, looking for. I speak a lot about like mediocre PK because a lot of my Discord are like sort of noobs. No, that's awkward. They're gonna hate me for that one now, aren't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
they're learning. Yeah.
Can we go back a second? No, yeah, they're learning to PK, right? So they're like trying to kill PVMers, and the thing they struggle with is the opposite. It's attacking the unschooled guys who then have 3 or 4 really good weapons, but they risk none of them.
Yeah.
That's more the issue than bumping into a PK with 1 weapon.
It's interesting. It's funny because it's just always been how the game is, where like scold people always get 1 item and everybody else always gets 4 items. Do you think there could be any balancing around that could make the wilderness potentially better, or just some ideas like maybe you have to pay for slots that you can? I don't know. I'm just coming up with it, and this is again not for right now, but in the future when power creep inevitably just starts getting out of control, and we need to find a way to sort of balance it by adding potentially more risk, so you're not bringing those super OP items out. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know, because it has worked in the past as well, like right, like with the fact that if you're unschooled, you can protect 4. But again, I think it's just everyone's got older and smarter. So now the guys that refuse to skull, if they start fighting you back with, say, like, I don't know, Ballista and AGS or like Claws, especially now with the addition of like Karasi and that coming, which I'm excited for, don't get me wrong. But it makes them so strong. And then you think to yourself as a PK, you're like, I'm over here risking my max set for a chance to get 500k. And then when they have Venge as well, it ends up they probably have more KO potential than you do. And it's a bit like, it doesn't really seem that fair. But I don't really think there's a way to change it because
yeah,
it's just how it's always been, right?
I do think the scenario like wildly varies as well, though. Like, for example, if you were to take a PVMer in the Rev Cave, I feel like that person most likely feels very safe in comparison to, like, let's say a PVMer at Venenatis or any other place in the wilderness, really, because the Rev Cave has a lot of busted spots. Like the agility jumps make it incredibly easy to tank because you don't have to worry about any form of melee attacks whatsoever. And if the player like that's attacking you uses 1 misstep, then you can go south and immediately get gap. I feel like other places in the wilderness don't really have that. So if you were to take it to literally anywhere but the cave, it's balanced. But inside of the cave, it's not balanced. So it's kind of difficult to manage.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. Like a lot of my like thing when it comes to PVM, where I am just thinking revs. Like actual wilderness, it can be hard because there's not like again in revs they've got like the agility jumps, you got the walls to gap people. Whereas when you're at an artist, it's just an open bit of like ground, right? Like
it's just open land, and you don't have NPCs that can PJ anymore. So,
rip.
What are you guys' thoughts on the Karasi sword that's coming out? Is that good? Explain what it does for those that don't know.
I'll let Casper go because I think he's very excited, but I don't know.
I think so. If I've understood correctly, Karasi has a guaranteed hit of at least 50% of your max hit, I think, or something like that. Okay, maybe not.
Wait.
Okay, wait. Maybe not 50% of your max hit.
No,
I don't think you can miss.
Because I didn't realize that.
But it does like 50 to 150% of your max hit, I think. Or something along the lines of that. So I think if you hit the 50%, it is like similar stats to a whip, I think. So it should hit like a 25 at minimum or something like that. And then at the most, it should hit like a 70 or some stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure.
Dear God.
It's not going to have anywhere near the highest max hit in the game.
Yeah,
but it will be strong.
So there isn't even an accuracy roll? Like, is there an accuracy roll first that depends if you're going to hit half of your max hit? So, like, you still could hit a 0 if you miss? Or is it literally just it doesn't even matter what the person's defense is. You will hit no matter what.
I don't actually know.
No, I'm not 100%. I think my chat earlier was telling me that it's a guaranteed hit. Because they were talking about using it for, like, PVM in, like, TOA and stuff. But I'm not 100%. I just know that it's going to be 50% spec instead of 60, which makes it a lot more overpowered. But again, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, something new, something.
As far as PK is, the meta at the moment is so stale. Like, it's never been so stale. So just give us some other stuff.
It's a funny weapon because, like, if you were to compare it, Karasi, to any other special attack weapon in the game, you would look at it and you would go, holy shit, that's overpowered. But then if you compare it to the ancient god sword, you kind of go, it's not actually that overpowered in comparison to just that special attack weapon. But if one exists, then you kind of justify the other just because that one already exists. But, like, in a perfect world, I think the Karasi probably should get somewhat of a nerf, I guess. It shouldn't have like a guaranteed hit if it does. And the Ancient God Sword should obviously get a nerf as well.
It's like I was saying earlier with power creep. Like, Ancient God Sword is... I could go on for 10 hours about this weapon.
Yeah.
Like, it's every PK's worst nightmare. It's every nice PK's worst nightmare. You know, the guys that like ragging with it, by all means. But it's so strong. So with the Karasi, I'm obviously looking forward to it because it might counter that. But then... if that's sort of the mindset, then like we said earlier with power creep, when's it going to stop? Because then something will come to counter that. And I would personally rather the Karasi be like 60% and the Ancient God Sword get nerfed, but I can't see that happening.
How expensive do you guys think the sword's going to kind of settle around?
I don't think it will be that expensive. I think it will probably settle around like 100 mil or something like that. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for as well. I think... I don't know. A lot of the items that we have in the game currently are so outrageously expensive that, like, anyone who wants to get into PKing, like, if you look at the history of PKing, at least from my experience, I feel like an AGS was almost always affordable, except for, like, the very beginning, even for new PKs. And that was, like, their +1, and you didn't really need much else apart from an AGS and a maul to have, like, a good chance at killing someone. Whilst nowadays, the average PKer has a lot of risk. And then if you're in Mystic, there's not really much you can upgrade without spending a lot of money. Like, you kind of have to make the jump from risking 500k to risking, like, 20 mil if you want a decent chance at out DPSing someone in, like, 40 mil gear.
Interesting.
I don't know. There's a lot of expensive items in the game right now, though. I feel like not enough of the player base that like to try PKing even has, like, access to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Now, is the Karasi sword just... I know you guys might not have every detail on it. Is this something that just acts as a normal weapon, or is this similar to the Vesta's longsword, where, like, if you die with it, it just turns into a pile of cash? It just drops as a sword, correct?
I think it's going to drop as a sword, but you know, like the Malediction wards and Odium wards at the moment?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be made like them. So each boss is going to drop a shard. I don't know if the shards are tradable. They should be, but I think they said they're not.
I believe they are.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you make the sword, and then I'm assuming it will work the same as the Odium and Malediction because, well, yes, it's the same sort of concept.
Okay. I'm excited for it, honestly. Also, this is another question I have. Are the new bosses, are they acting like next drop table where, like, everybody gets a chance of getting something, or, like, everybody gets something? Like, do you guys know how that works, or are we just going to figure that out?
I think you're asking the wrong people.
I know. I feel like nobody knows. I've asked, like, a lot of people, and we're just kind of like, all right, well, we'll just find out on Wednesday, I guess.
Now, originally, I asked the JMod, and they said it would work like that because I was wondering for, like, Iron Men and stuff. I won't name the JMod in case it's changed because last time I spoke to them, they said it might have changed. But I think originally it was going to be like next. But yeah, I'm not 100% now.
Dude, I'm so excited. Wednesday is going to be honestly a blast because everybody is going to be out there. And it's just going to be a ton of fun. I don't know.
I think this can go one of two ways, and it very much lies in the hands of the big multi-clans, to be honest.
Explain.
Like, so everyone is aware of, like, the whole Red Cave service business and, like, how that took a toll for the... Like, it kind of took a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
I honestly think that this could have a very similar outcome, and like how much they're gonna try to control it and stuff like that is gonna kind of dictate if this is a good update or if it's a bad update in like the public's eyes. So I'd like to believe that like just I don't know, going into it, this is gonna be a great update, but I do think like the multi-clans will play quite a large role in like how this is gonna be viewed.
It comes down to the clan's mentalities again as well. Like we were saying earlier, like the ragging. If the clans sort of geared up in like mystics to fight each other, I'm sure they'd both enjoy it. But they hate each other so much that they will just like one item each other to annoy them. And if it turns into like a big rag fest again, then obviously that's gonna go downhill pretty fast. It's
Yeah,
so
this is
it's a weird game we play, man. Like people will take this way too seriously. Like,
I know.
it's like you just gear up, have some fun, fight some people. But these guys hate each other, so they don't want to like give them any loot, even if it's 50k. So it's
Yeah. I mean, I was out in the Rev cave when the Revs first started dropping the wilderness weapons. I was out there for 3 months, and I know people take this game way too seriously.
Revs was something else.
Yeah, but I will say, trying to see the other side, like trying to see how this could be very enjoyable for people of having like feuds out in the wilderness and being able to like lock down worlds and stuff like that. I see it as, obviously there's huge downsides, but I also see it as a ton of fun for those involved that are just taking it really seriously, having a lot of competition. Obviously it gets really toxic, inevitably, but like, I see that as being a more engaging part of the wilderness, for better or for worse. And I don't know, something about that brings life to the wilderness, which in my eyes can be a good thing. Of course, it always goes too far. But, at least initially, I think it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I agree
no,
that like
100%.
competitiveness should definitely exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be... Well, again, it's the same as we were saying with Woody updates. The multi guys have had less than, like, the singles PKers. Multi had revs, and then they got taken away from them, and they haven't had anything since. So.
True. So, what are your guys' guesses for the whole lockdown thing? Do you think 2K or the 2.2K world or something like that's going to be locked down? Do you guys have any guesses as to what's going to happen with these places? And also, are these 3 different caves like in different parts of the wilderness, or are they all sort of interconnected, or is there actual 3
I
different
thought that
hotspots?
they would all be in different locations, but I don't actually know.
Okay.
I think they're where the bosses currently are. So, like, the Callisto cave is where Callisto is, for example. And then to escape the cave, you go into another, like, system of tunnels, and then they're all linked. I think that was the... Again, we're going to say this, and we're going to be way off when they actually come out. Like,
I just remember seeing, like, a map of, like, some cave system that they had as, like, a proposal for, like, escape mechanics. Can't exactly remember how they went, but it seemed interesting. I do think, however, 2.2K is probably going to be off limits.
I don't know. I
think it will, bro. I'm not gonna lie, man.
It depends on the bosses, right? Like the reason it happened with revs is because that you could just free farm them. You shouldn't know damage. Whereas with these bosses, they're meant to have like mechanics, so you can't just stay there and farm all day long. That would have a massive change. And there's also a minimum risk now, which I think I spoke about last time. Like the whole rev thing only worked because of the whole like one item crystal raggers that would risk literally 1 GP, and they would like clock in on shifts to rag people out of their worlds. Whereas like if they all risk 50k, I know it's only 50k, but they wouldn't do that all the time because they would end up losing. Like they would die in seconds, but they just keep coming back and back and back. If they're losing 50k at a time, they won't do that. So they'd either gear up and then it'd make it like a good fight, or it just wouldn't be a thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm being stupidly hopeful, but you'll get people try and lock stuff down and like protection services, I'm sure. But I think the whole fighting should be a bit more engaging than just a team of 900 Crystal Hallies coming back,
Yeah.
At least I hope
One can hope. One can hope.
What do you guys... What we obviously we don't know how this is all going to play out and what the difficulty is going to be of these bosses and everything else, but what would you guys like to see the GP per hour of these wilderness bosses at with everything included?
I I don't know.
Do you
I feel
want it to be the best, like in the game?
Nah. Because if I say it's the best in the game, then holy shit, am I
You're
gonna
gonna get
anger
cancelled,
people?
my man. Be careful.
Okay.
I genuinely don't think the best money makers in the game should come from the wilderness. I do think that wilderness should offer competitive, like GP and XP rates that don't necessarily have as many requirements as other things in the game. Like Nex is
Okay, that's fair.
wild estimate here. I think it's something like 10 mil an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think like duo next, yeah, or quad, I don't know.
Yeah, so like Nex has a decent amount of like pre-requirements that you have to do, and it's like an engaging and tough boss or whatever.
And you have to have really good gear to get.
Yeah,
those kills,
exactly. I feel like the wilderness should offer something that's like it's competitive to that. It shouldn't be better and it shouldn't be the same, but it should be competitive with way less requirements, and just like overall difficulty should probably be like a bit lowered, because obviously you can't bring the best in slot gear to the wilderness.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Yeah, no,
argument.
100%. It's with like the wildy stuff, it's a hard one because you want it to be good, but moneymakers outside of the wildy now have gone so far. Like for example, 10 mil an hour for Nex. Like, could you imagine that back in 2006? 2006, you was like cutting yew trees. I'm pretty sure.
I was,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Not sure if I was cutting them or if Powerbot was doing it. But...
understandable. Nah,
Gary's hood was chopping them. Yeah.
Woody should compete. It shouldn't be best GP per hour, but like Casper said, it should be a lot more straightforward and simpler, because at the end of the day, you are taking the risk. Like, say, again, random example, say Vorkath was 5 mil, I know it's not, and say the new Callisto thing's 5 mil. Why are you going to do the Callisto thing? Because you risk dying, you know? Like, you just do the safe one, right?
Yep.
It's there has to be reasons to risk getting PK'd.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to balance that, especially when there is a place like original revs that were multi, where people that could lock down a world were just, they were profiting so much because it was like free reign, you know, you just kill them without that risk, really. And that was the same thing, I believe, with the new bounty hunter that had come out a few years back, where people were just kind of abusing it and just going to like those hot spots and just kind of milking the GP rather than actually doing it appropriately. So I can only imagine what it's like for the J-mods trying to balance this shit. I don't envy their position.
I remember Bounty Hunter because it's such a talked about subject, right? Like whenever Bounty Hunter is brought up, it's like the entire Reddit just gets like PTSD from like earning 100 mil cash an hour, and I kind of look at that every single time, and I go like, it's so wildly blown out of proportion, to be honest. Bounty Hunter was broken, but it wasn't anywhere near as broken as people portrayed it to be.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think it was. It was just the fact that if you had a team and you had organization, you could just go out into the wilderness, into a hotspot, and just milk money, just print it, basically. So,
I think Foes said it before a few times in tweets as well. It's like Bounty Hunter obviously getting abused is just like Zora bots, but all the Zora bots are still around. Like, they haven't taken away Zora, and so I think that's why a lot of the PvP community felt a bit like shafted, because there was people abusing it, so they got it removed. But there's people abusing so much in the game. But because that's like true. Iron Man and stuff like it stays in, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's just funny because, like, obviously, not to point the blame, but I think Torvesta is probably the main reason that Bounty Hunter got removed, right? But his intention when he made that video wasn't to have it removed, it was to fix the problem.
Yep.
Like, he brought attention to the problem in like hopes that Jagex would fix the problem, and their fix to the problem was removing the content. And we like everyone kind of just went and like, I don't know, it's just mind-boggling to think that like that was the solution. Just remove it all. Don't even keep any of it in.
It is weird. Isn't that one of the only times in the history of the game where a piece of content has just been actually just taken out of the game? Like, I don't think that's ever happened with a PVM update ever.
No, I mean, it still kind of exists, I guess.
Really?
Like, yeah, Bounty on the Worlds exist, but they don't.
They
don't
it doesn't exist. Come on.
Yeah, they don't do anything. Like, they offer no reason to go there apart from you being able to equip a VLS.
The thing is, you try and hop in a target world, it gives you this warning saying it's the old PJ system. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not. It's just a complete lie.
Is
Like,
it really? Just a lie.
Yeah, like, and the amount of times J-mods, again, this isn't no flame to J-mods, I'm sure they're super, super busy.
Yeah.
But the amount of times we've
Super
brought it up
busy.
to them, and they're like, yeah, we'll change that at the start, and now they don't even mention it, and it's still there. Like, you hop into it, and it says it works the same as the old order used to, and it just doesn't. It is
Hold
a
on.
complete lie.
I'm logged into the game right now. Let me click it and
yeah,
actually
do
see
it.
what it says. World 319 is a target world where the wilderness is more dangerous than on other worlds. There is no PJ timer in PvP combat there. That's just a lie.
Yep.
It
Straight
was
lie.
it's been like this since they released single plus into like all of the wilderness, right? And like we have asked them. I remember I asked them so many times in the beginning if that was true because we tested it. Because like obviously me and a couple of friends were kind of hyped. We were like, okay, we can still PK there if we ever want to like group up. And I tweeted at the J mods. I talked to some of them, and then at first they said it wasn't intentional and they were planning on fixing it. And then a couple months later down the line, when I kept asking, they just go, "Oh yeah, like it's meant to be like single plus. It's just we haven't changed the text."
Oh my god.
So like you have to wonder what really happened there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because someone obviously went in and changed the text. It's just like, but why?
It's a weird one, yeah.
It's like they just completely backtracked on their decision, but then I don't know, you just never spoke about it again.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on the new bounty hunter that's coming out? I know, there's still a lot of information we don't know about it, but are you guys one of those people that would participate in that, or is that just not your scene?
On release, definitely. I definitely try it. It's any form of PK. As I say, anything to sort of change the current sort of staleness.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, it's going to be bounty hunter creators, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from what again, I was a massive noob back then. I was mainly free to play, but I remember enjoying it. But I know a lot of people are not looking forward to it. It's one of them things, everyone says they don't like it, and then you don't know if they actually don't like it or they're just saying it to try and shit on Jagex.
Yeah.
The thing with like them saying it's going to be bounty hunter creators, to me, it draws the picture of us getting like a very, very old piece of content back. But then you also have to imagine that like that content wouldn't work in today's like, I don't know, era of RuneScape. It really just wouldn't work at all. So part of me believes that they are going to reinvent a lot of things. I doubt that they are just going to release it in the same way that it was like, I don't know when it was removed, like 2007, 2008 or something like that. Fuck knows.
Yeah, am I right in saying back then it was like if you got a kill that wasn't your target, you couldn't leave for 5 minutes or something like that?
180 seconds has like a big, I don't know, that rings a bell in my head.
Either way, like, I couldn't see that going now because there'd be people who would start like Reddit posts like it's unfair, let me out, and like I think it will get, what's the word, softened down a lot. Like,
yeah,
most likely.
like back in the, it was quite harsh. If you killed someone by mistake, or not killed someone by mistake, or like hit someone who wasn't your target. I remember like trying to leave and it wouldn't let you. Whereas I can't see that being a thing now because everyone's like, it's not fair. My item, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna stick to like what they did in the past. I really don't think they will. I'd imagine it will be like completely, I don't know, something new that we haven't seen before. So I have hopes for it. One thing that I do really wish that they would do more often, though, is just like I think they need to experiment more. I think with stuff like LMS that's existed for so long now, they don't really try anything in LMS. Like LMS is like the perfect testing ground for any update that they want to release into PvP. If you ever wonder if an item is overpowered, release it into LMS and you'll find out straight away.
True.
Like
yeah.
within a week, you'll have enough like feedback from players, if not just like pure, I don't know, data to support whether or not the item would be fair to implement into the main game or not. And I think they could do the same. They could probably do that with Bounty Hunter too. It could be like an area that's very different from regular wilderness, where it has like its own unique items and stuff like that that you can test out. Like, I don't know, Vesta, Stadius, Morrigan, whatever else.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, this might be, I don't know, you guys will have to tell me if you agree or not. I feel like just coming out with wilderness updates on this might sound extreme, but like I'm even thinking on a monthly basis of just coming out with something, and then potentially removing it if it's busted or something. But just keeping the wilderness fresh could just be really fun, because I feel like whenever an update comes out, it's a ton of fun for a month, and then it becomes stale again. And then it's just like, oh, time to wait 2 years until something else
Yeah,
comes out.
Jaggers are very scared to experiment with anything.
Yeah.
I feel like they just don't like. I don't know. It's like once they release something, they feel like they have to keep it. But I feel like that isn't necessarily true. Like you can experiment with things, and if they're a massive fail, then if you don't see a way to like rework it to become a success, then maybe take it out, replace it with something else. I don't know. Go back to the drawing board. PvP arena, I don't think people would care if it got removed at this point and reworked into something else.
Dude, does anyone do it? Have you guys ever done PvP arena?
Bro, I was there recently and I queued. It must have been for like 4 hours, and I found 2 fights that just insta left. And like, I'm just trying to get some imbue scrolls for my stuff that I lose. The thing is it such like, I don't want to seem like I'm laying into it. It was a really good design.
Yeah.
Like the spectating, the tournaments. But it's just when you think about it, why would anyone do it? Like, there's no rewards, and it's slower than Nightmare Zone to get imbue scrolls. The only people there are the people boosting.
Oh, but it's such a train wreck. You know what the worst part of it is? It's just when pure spam walked by and just saw, oh my god, there's people fighting, and just 2 bots just endlessly fighting in the first arena.
That
It's like,
sums it up.
why did you have to add that? It just makes it look so much worse. Oh god.
Again, it's a really good bit of content, but it goes back to the whole thing where like they tried to get rewards to pass, so I feel bad for JMod. It's not they didn't try, but then the community was just like, no, we don't want that, and then it's just kind of wasted, you know.
That's so rough, because you know that was a huge project. I mean, just the systems they had to put in place to make that all work, and like nobody does it. Ugh.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, not
What
amazing.
did they say they worked on it for? Like 6 months, I think. 6 months of dev time from the new PvP team, I believe. Something like
Jesus.
that.
I wonder if they're gonna do anything with it, or they're just gonna let it just rot.
That's I don't know. I felt like PvP Arena had a chance to be revived, and they kind of did like two very, very, very minor updates. Like I can't even I can't stress enough how like minor they were. And then they kind of just left it at that.
Well, it circles back round to what you said. I feel like as far as PvP goes, Jaggets need to do more, but then be open to the idea of taking it back. You know, like.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep circling back to PJ time, but when that first came out, they said they would like monitor it, you know, and then see how it was and then make changes. But it's just another thing. They just get out and then they forget about it. It's like, I would much rather, or again, anyone would rather constant updates, but then like we're just knowing like if it is broken, they will actually revert it. That would be sweet. But it seems to just leave stuff in the game for a long, long, long time until it gets stale and then everyone hates everyone. And yeah.
Yeah, rip. PvP arena, Jesus. Yeah, that place is a ghost town, literally. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Twitter topics real quick because there's a few I want to cover. First one, I think I already know the answer to this, but you guys will have to tell me. Furrywall asks, "What do you think is the greatest / most overpowered item in the PvP scene?" I'm just gonna throw my guess out there and say Gmaul. I think that's always been the case, but you guys let me know.
I was not going to go that route. I don't think.
Yeah, I was not going to go that route. I'm not going to lie. I think the answer for us was quite clear. Not going to lie.
What is it?
Ancient Godsword, without any doubt in my mind. I think.
Is it that good? Okay, so explain to those that aren't, because I know that the Ancient Godsword's good, but why is it so incredibly good?
So, like, if I spec a 0 with an AGS, I obviously get no damage. But with an Ancient Godsword, even if you spec a 0, but like land the accuracy roll or whatever, you could still you could still heal a 25 plus get 25 damage. So even though you hit like a 0, you are still put 50 HP like in a lead of your opponent, if that makes any sense.
What we should say as well is this is mainly for like deep-wildy and tribridding. Like for PvP worlds, it probably is the Gmaul.
Yeah.
But this is for Outlast fights, which is
Okay.
kind of what we do more. Because I don't know too much about PvP worlds.
So you would say it's either of those two weapons, but for outlasting, 100% it's Ancient Godsword.
Oh, outlasting 1,000%, like by a long way as well.
Is that a good thing, or should maybe it like I don't know? Does the spec need to be reduced so it's like 60%, or is it fine where it is, or what?
I think the best suggestion that I heard off of someone in my chat that was like incredibly reasonable in my opinion was it should base the amount of like damage that it does and heals. So like currently it heals at 25 and it hits at 25 no matter what, right? Like as long as you get the accuracy roll, you're in the fucking big money.
Yeah.
But it should be like it's based on what you hit with the God Sword. So if you hit like a 30 or something, then you'll only get like a, I don't know, a 15, a 10, whatever, rather than a 25. I think that would be a lot more balanced. And just, I don't know, it's hard to argue like against it because you have to paint a picture pretty much every single time. But like in incredibly budget gear, you can hit like a 60 Ancient God Sword, or budget gear in mine and Dino's mind probably. And like the damage that you then get from that is an 85. If you want to hit an 85 with just about any other weapon in the game, you have to be in so much strength bonus.
Yeah.
The main thing with it is the prayer as well. Like you use it when they're praying melee, and you still get the 25-25, not including the hit, the actual like raw hit. So like you'll be praying correctly, and people will just keep sending them on you, and you're taking so much damage. You're like, I swear this game isn't meant to work this way.
So what if you prayed melee, it halves the 25 and it makes it like a 12?
Yeah, anything like that. Like I still think it would be strong then, but it would be much better than it currently is.
That is obnoxious that it just guarantees a 25. Like holy shit.
If you ask any deep-wildy tribrid, they will say Ancient Godsword, and they won't even think about it.
Yeah.
It's to that question. It's insane.
But has it been fun to use? Like overall, has it been a good addition to the wilderness?
I mean, I've come to the point where I've come to the point where like on my streams, I barely ever use it. Like I keep myself using pretty much everything aside from an Ancient Godsword because I hate fighting it. And if I were to run into someone else that doesn't have it, I think I would just feel bad. I don't know. In my opinion, it's a very cheesy weapon.
It's a very boring weapon.
So it's like it's like a noob tube in Fortnite.
Yeah,
kind of.
I used it when it first came out because again, obviously it's new. I then stopped for a long time, but I just kept dying to it over and over. So I've got to the point now where I just keep using it, and I'm just like, screw it. I'm just there using it. We get a kill, and then there's just no expression on my face because it's not even enjoyable. But it's just like, yeah, sweet.
Oh god,
it's very, very, very strong.
That's funny. Okay. So here's Blonde asking 2 questions. Have you got a favorite PK? I'm assuming like a certain kill you've had that's been really good. And the other question is, where is your favorite place to PK and style of PKing? So, I guess either of you can answer.
Do you want to go?
I don't know. I need to think about this one. I think.
Okay, I'll go. My favorite PK is any on Reese. I've had quite a few. I'm assuming you know Reese. Yeah. I've had quite a few fights with him, and he is a very good PK. Like he does all the numbers. He's very much like I'm the best. We're mates, obviously, but I have quite a few fights with him, and every time I fight him, to be fair, he should beat me. But I somehow kill him. I think I'm up like 4 bill on him at this point. I fought him yesterday, for example, and the same thing happened. And every time you kill him, you just know that he's molding as well. And it's such a nice feeling in the nicest way possible.
That's funny.
I was sat here thinking like, oh yeah, it should probably be like, I don't know, one of like the bigger PKs that I've got, or like some special moment. Then it came across my mind. I killed Sea Engineer.
Oh yeah, I watched that video.
I think that one just takes the cake. Actually, like that was probably one of the most exciting moments on like the amount of dopamine that I got from just like the reaction that everyone had, and like after. Obviously, like I didn't spend nearly as long as some other people did. I think I spent like a week or 2 total but just getting that was insane. Like I don't know, it's like putting an end to a series that's been going on for nearly 2 years.
Explain that, because I did watch the video, but there's got to be people out there that don't know what you're talking about. So explain the whole situation regarding Sea Engineer.
So Sea Engineer had like a hardcore Iron Man that he would only play in PvP worlds, and I think people like widely overestimated how easy it was to find him. Finding him was like so difficult. We had 5 people, of which one of them was Pimpact, a guy that's like he's pretty much in every single episode of Hunting Sea Engineer's Hardcore Iron Man. He knows his like schedule. He knows where he likes to go and what he does and stuff like that.
So creepy.
So like the amount of like planning that goes into just finding him and getting one chance. Like Pimpact camped one spot at what's that agility course in Mauritania? I don't remember what it's called. Sepulchre?
Yeah.
Yeah, he camped one spot there for like 2 weeks straight. And he would just be logged in looking at it every single day, just waiting for him to come. And then keep in mind, Sea Engineer, when he's playing, is obviously looking at his screen. If you're sat there waiting repeatedly, you have no idea if he's going to show up and like what time he's going to show up. So you kind of just have to stare at your screen and hope that you're going to be like quick enough to react the second he comes. But he did end up dying to an NPC and lost his hardcore status. And I think at that point he started playing a lot more risky. And we ended up catching him at Zolra, and I killed him with like a dragon knife to volley combo.
Damn.
But he had a 16 bill bounty that we split across, I think it was 5 of us. So we got 3.2 bill each.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's insane. How was it for Sea Engineer? Did he was he like upset about it, or was he like
Oh
good
yeah,
fight?
I think he was sad. I don't think he was like angry. I think he was sad because he's built his channel off of that series. I feel like it's been like his go-to thing for so long, and I mean, once it ends, it ends. Like obviously he could remake, but I don't think he wants to just do the same thing over and over again. This was like the second time he's doing it, right? And this time he wanted to die to a player, and it happened. It's just, I think he was still sad to lose like the baby of his YouTube channel, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this second question, I'm pretty sure I already know your favorite style of PKing, which is Deep Wilderness. But where is your favorite place to PK, Dino?
Oof. I don't know. Not the Rev Caves. It depends if it means at the moment or back in the day. Like back in the day, it'd probably be like East Dragons, because I remember having those like team fights and stuff there. Whereas sort of at the moment, it's just anywhere that's active. Probably Altar, if I had to pick somewhere right now. But yeah, there's only sort of 2 spots. It's Altar or Caves. So, but no, yeah, back in the day, 1,000% East Dragons. I just remember having so many like you just be sitting on TeamSpeak with everyone, you know, just all having a laugh, and I just love that stuff.
Yeah, Westham.
I think mine is easily PvP Worlds. It's just as a content creator, I think it kind of began in like 2020 where PvP Worlds just started dying out. Like you can still go there and bench PK, but if you want to do anything else, I just feel like everyone moved on to Deep Wilderness. No one really goes to like PvP Worlds to an age or hybrid or do anything like that. So I don't know. Even though I love the place, I never really go there because there's no one there.
Okay. Here's a question from Second Base. He asks, if Dead Man Mode seasonals were brought back to have a point system like leagues, as well as rewards for the main game, what sort of items do you think could be offered? And do you think rewards from the main game would make the game mode more popular? So I guess just Dead Man Mode with leagues rewards sort of that come out into the main game. Would that be a good idea? And what would you like to see from it?
I couldn't see it being a bad idea.
Do you think PKs care that much for cosmetics?
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing, right? Like,
I mean, no, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing. I'm just thinking, like, would the cosmetics really like be the reason that people would start playing it? I don't think so.
I'm still very much of the mindset, but I always get told that I'm delusional, if they done like the seasonal Deadman again, but without the prize pool at the end, I still think loads of people would play it. I really do.
Yeah, I
I
agree
feel
with
like
that.
they don't need that prize pool. But whenever I say that, everyone's like, "Nah, why would it?" And like a few years ago, I think it was like 2017, back when it was, every 3 months, there'd be like the week of the sweating tournament, and then the seasonal would start after it. When it was like XP caps and gear caps, I loved that because I was working full time, so I needed the caps to still sort of keep up, and it was a lot more casual. I think if that came back, I still think it would do really, really well, even without like the tournament at the end. Just because it wasn't like a game mode you had to dedicate your life to, because there was XP caps. What I would do is I'd come home from work, I'd play for about an hour or two, cap out, and on the weekend I'd go and PK because you weren't behind. It was I love that stuff. I absolutely loved it.
I think as content creators, we could easily play something that is just for the fun of it. But if I'm gonna be realistic, I also think a very large portion of like the PK community do play RuneScape not necessarily to make money, but I don't know, it's like a side thing. Like I'm gonna be honest, I feel like most of the maybe not most, but like a very good chunk of the PK community do RWT.
Yeah.
So if there's no money to be made, then I don't know how many people would play.
I just feel like the money doesn't need to be like it doesn't need to be 25,000. It could be like, $5,000. I really don't think that's much to even ask for, and I also don't think it would be enough for people to like start DDoSing and doing a bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I also was thinking. Oh, sorry. Just briefly, what if they were to come out with like dragon trophies for Deadman mode? So like the winner, or like who knows, top 16 players get a dragon trophy, top 32 get whatever the hell, or not dragon trophies, but what I mean,
that
just
would
some sort of
that would
flex
be
item.
really cool. Give like, I don't know, like the winner gets like a crown that they can wear on their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've always said they should get like a golden skull, when they're PKing. Like, just
Ooh,
if you win Deadman, you're the only person in the game. Obviously, you have more Deadmans, but like just something like that. Like, I would like that. I wouldn't win. Don't get me wrong, but that would make me want to like do the tournament.
See, dude, I was just thinking, how badass would it be? I mean, not just for one person to have like the goal. I mean, obviously there could be the winner of it has like this crazy skull, but I'm even thinking like, who knows, maybe even the top 20 that are like, the finishers or whatever get some sort of customizable skull. So there really is an incentive to go out there, and then you get to flex that skull until the next tournament comes out. So you're just, I don't know, that seems awesome. I think a lot of people would honestly, that is scary. If you're facing a dude with a customized skull, that they're good at the game. You know what I mean? In a way. So it's like an intimidation factor.
Hold on, wait, actually.
Go,
that might be a problem now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You see someone with a golden skull and you just go, fuck that, I'm not fighting that guy.
It's true.
But no, I feel like that stuff like that is like, Jagex very much overestimate how like how much the RuneScape community cares for GP or like IRL money. Look at what was it? Was it a 2020 DMM where the prize was $1,000 and a swag bag, and it was still like an insanely popular DMM. Like people still played it. Yeah, it was like a graphics card and something else. And I sat there, I was kind of looking at it, and I just went, all right, DMM is mostly like a team-based thing, right? So how the fuck are you going to split an NVIDIA GTX 3080?
Jesus Christ. Swag bag. It still hasn't been sent out. I could just totally imagine that. They lost the
It's on its
information.
It's on its way. Now, I'm any sort of Deadman, I'm massive for. I love that. I have nothing but fond memories of Deadman. The most recent one I still enjoyed, but I would say it probably wasn't one of my favorites.
Oh, shut up! That was
man. If I could pick a Deadman to bring back, it would be the XP cap, gear cap seasonals. That was 1,000% my favorite Deadman time.
The last DMM to me was just like, I don't know, it was like my dream come true. Just being able to hit 100 AGSs and shit. That was. I'm a big hit equals good type of guy. I don't like I'm not necessarily a fan of like just consistent DPS. I like the 1 in a million hitting extremely big.
Yeah.
Because I just think when you see a clip of someone hitting like the max hit, it's like so much more entertaining than seeing someone just do a lot of hits over like a period of time until their opponent is out of food.
That's so true. Okay, he's got a couple more questions. One is, okay, Castle Wars, Soul Wars, and Clan Wars used to be very popular, safe PvP activities back in the day. Why do you think their popularity has died out? Well, they're not.
I think
fun.
we just aren't kids anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I said, I think a lot of RuneScape players don't play the game for, well, like they play the game for fun, but in like a weird way where if there's no money to be made, they don't want to go there.
Yep.
And I feel like as long as we have that mentality, those game modes are never going to be revived because they don't offer anything apart from cosmetics.
Yeah, like when you're a kid, I remember I was allowed an hour on the PC a day, and I would get on and I would play 2 games of Castle Wars, and that would be, you know, I'd be over the moon. I didn't want anything, I didn't want the tickets, I just enjoyed playing. But
You
like
remember
Casper said, I feel
just
like
being a giga noob, putting the explosive potion on the wall.
bro, I was running around rune plate body, rune plate legs, and a rune Halley. That was the setup. I remember.
It just
The best part about Castle Wars.
Yeah, go for it.
The best part is just that you can take out, like, you can be a level 40 noob in full rune and take out some maxed guy by just hitting him with a pile of rocks.
But yeah, as I say, like we're talking now, like that was fun, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's just, yeah, everyone now is like, if they don't get the max efficient XP from it, it's, I don't know, I always feel like I'm being very negative when I get asked these questions, but it's just kind of how it is now.
it's
you
just
know?
true. Yeah.
Well, as well, like you look at Soul Wars, when Soul Wars came out, instantly there was a clan chat opened about boosting for the most points, you know?
Yep.
And then they had to nerf it where you couldn't get points. Like you couldn't queue with your mates to get points. Am I right in saying that? Like you had to go in the random portals, you get split up and stuff.
It's something like that.
Every time something comes out, there's the guys that are just trying to manipulate it to get the best rates, the best, and it just kind of ruins it. It sucks the fun out of it, you know? I don't blame them for doing it because it makes sense, but it does kind of kill it at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, players just kind of start naturally gravitating towards something else. Like, for example, I see the PvP worlds around the Grand Exchange. It just naturally became a popular area. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know. You can't force things. People will do what they want to do. And so.
I think Soul Wars was probably like I don't know. I think that showed Jagex that a lot of the time we will ask for stuff because we remember them very fondly of like when we were kids, but we don't actually want them.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Once we get them, we'll kind of just look at them and go, this doesn't give me any money, it doesn't give me any XP, or like if they do give it, then it's very bad in comparison to like other parts of the game, so therefore I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, and there's a vast, but I can't say the majority, but a lot of players in this game did used to play as children, and so when they think of old, you know, updates and stuff that came out when they were a kid, they literally think they're way better than they actually are.
Yeah. It's like I said, they don't ask for them back to just like to try and be dicks to Jaggers. Like, they probably think they want Soul Wars. They play a few games and they're like, oh, it's a bit boring, and they go back to like 3-tick mining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, there was like a family night I had with, my family, obviously, where
really?
we found the Nintendo 64 that we used to have as kids, and we all kind of just like, we used to play Mario Kart. Like we had a lot of fun for like a little bit, but then we swapped to GoldenEye, and we all thought that like, oh yeah, this was sick. I remember it being such a good game. And we just tried like playing it and it was impossible. Like the controls are so fucking awful. Like the aiming, just everything about the game just didn't really, it didn't play very well. But like the idea that me and my brothers had in our heads was just like, oh yeah, this is a sick game. We love this shit. until we actually played it, and we just went, "Oh yeah, no, this just sucks."
That is so true. I remember playing Nightfire on the GameCube. That game slapped. But you're totally right. I played it a few years back, and the controls are so fucked. Like, dude, like, first of all, your point of view is like 40 degrees. You know, like most games, you have a pretty wide angle of like being able to see stuff. You're on a square in this game. Like your screen's a square and you can't see shit. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I think nostalgia is like it's a good thing, but it does also almost like force some content that we clearly don't actually want to come into the game.
Yeah.
Well, it's like even now, I get in Twitch chat, and I still think like Stealing Creation and Fist of Guffix. They're like, oh, we really want these back. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, that'd be sick. But then when you think about it, it's just the same as Soul Wars. We all thought Soul Wars would be sick, and then is it actually, you know, or is it just because you remember having a really good time on it?
Mm-hmm.
I think we just thought it was good because, like, I think that just the player base isn't as diverse as it used to be. You know, like nowadays, how many people do you realistically think are like under 100 combat?
Yeah, well, you could go Castle Wars. I'm pretty sure I was doing Castle Wars. I was pretty combat level 60, and I felt like I was killing people. Whereas now it'd be everyone in max ancestral 126s.
Yeah, when Soul was released, I remember there was like someone in Blazes that tweeted out a GIF of him. You stood in like I think it was like full Justy with Ellie, and he was just blood barraging a pile of like level 110s with like Rune and Varrock and shit.
There's anything in it. The game's been out longer, so people get smarter, I guess. And then
Yeah.
Yeah, open like I don't know, just having access to all of the information about like how everything works in the game does kind of plague the game in a way.
100%. And the game's been out for a fucking decade. So
yeah, like there's no mystery to anything anymore.
No, that's the biggest problem.
Well, it's things like, again, I go back to mining. I remember this comes back to our BR, like not the last one, the one before. Things like with the adamant pickaxe, it has like a different tick cycle to the other pickaxes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, how do you find that out? Who was the first person to test this, you know?
I know.
Like, it blows my mind.
Everything is calculated to the T. Everything. Like drop tables, DPS, everything. It's insane.
I think that's probably the biggest reason why people don't enjoy new updates in the first place. They solve them too quick.
And it's impossible for them not to solve them. No matter how many things we could put in place to prevent it, it's not preventable. It's just that
it's always going to happen now.
Yeah, it's sort of a shame. I kind of like the road they're going down with not revealing too much about certain updates. Now, I know a lot of it's not even a part of PvP. I think PvP, they still have to pretty much divulge everything before it comes out just to, you know, make everybody happy. But, yeah, it's a tough one because, yeah, I don't know. What are you supposed to do? And is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Like, net-wise. Like, is it a net positive or net negative, the style of game we play nowadays?
Everyone's got better. It's really positive in like Jaget's eyes to a degree because it's, I don't know, it means people have been playing a lot, right? But it does kind of suck the fun out of a lot of things. And again, going back sort of related to PvP with like the PvP tracker, it's kind of linked, right? Like it's people got to the point where they learned PvP. They knew that back when an H-taken was a thing, if they barrage with like a mystic top and tank legs on, they'd catch more freezes than if they, you know, done double mystics in certain situations and stuff like that. And you just learn the game to such a degree. It's just like, just click someone and have a bit of fun, you know?
Yeah.
I hate the PvP tracker. That's the worst thing added to the game, in my opinion, as far as plugins are concerned. I've realized I sound really old and miserable. Like everything I'm saying is like, this is awful. But you know what I mean? Like,
it's so true. It tilts the hell. I only do LMS with it, and I'm just like, dude, I'm getting so pissed off right now.
Yeah,
I think competitive RuneScape died for me because of the PvP tracker. Like once we kind of shifted away from like just wearing the stuff that you're like, obviously, if you want to freeze someone, you equip your robes. That's like a no-brainer. That's just how it should be. But it came to a point where like, oh yeah, if you're being DD'd on, the person's called a freeze. You want to freeze them back. And guess what, buddy? Chuck on your full tank and just barrage them back.
Yeah, and it's like you have a 52% chance, and it's just like, bro, like I don't know, man. I just feel like all of the technicality stuff just sucks the fun out of it, you know? Like
it does.
I miss when you go PKing, you chuck some barrages, you do some random bolts, you go for an AGS maul. That was a lot more fun for me than like if I use this weapon, I get an extra hit on you, and
yeah, we'll see what the game has in store in the next 5 years. I mean, seriously, I worry, but I also know that like the game's going nowhere, and they'll come up with something that's fun. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Is like, is it fun? Just
yeah, 100%. Well, I think the game has like never been better, right? Outside of PvP. I could be way off here. Is it? Am I about to get like roasted? I don't know.
No, you're right. Obviously, everyone has different opinions, but I think the vast consensus is the game's in a great place.
Like stuff like raids, like such a good addition. I know Chambers probably came out 5-6 years ago now, but I still see that as kind of new. Like all the raids, TOB, TOA, obviously recently. There's some PVMers that hate it, but I think for the most part, like that part of the game's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. Okay. I do have a concern / question / discussion that I want to bring up with you guys regarding the latest blog that they came out with talking about resizing spells and moving prayers around freely. Now, I want to have your guys' take, but I also want to share my take with you guys because my opinion on this has changed. Originally, I was seen as a more conservative player, which I'm ashamed of at this point. I'm thinking like 3-4 years back, where I just wanted like the game to stay old school as much as possible. Now my views have changed a lot, and I think rearranging prayers. Now I'm not saying prayer sizes need to change, but just being able to rearrange your prayers, I feel like, in my opinion, should be fair. I feel like you should be able to do that. I don't think there's any downside to that. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because the LMS new modes that came out were like, what the fuck? Am I really supposed to try to start getting used to ultimate strength and incredible reflexes and turning on all this bullshit and not having them in the same positions as piety? And the other thing is spells. I really feel like you should be able to increase the size of spells. And I know that the argument is that it's going to lower the skill gap or whatever it is, the skill ceiling of PvP. But I feel like at this point in the game, who the hell cares? Now, I want to hear your guys' take on it because obviously we might have differing opinions. So, Westham.
I kind of agree with. I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I don't. I feel like I don't have an answer. I'm kind of at a point where like I'd like for that to come into the game because obviously it encouraged new players to try out PKing, but at the same time it lowers the skill ceiling so that better players are essentially like, I don't know, I feel like RuneScape is already becoming one of those games where like if you're the best in the game and you're fighting someone that's above average, you obviously have an advantage, but that player can still beat you quite easily. So I don't know. It becomes one of those things where like, how far are we willing to go without punishing like the really good players?
Yeah, that's true. Personally, I don't see it as a punishment to good players. I do see it as, yes, you will not have quite as big of a gap from where you are. The other thing is okay, so are you okay with rearranging prayers? Let's just take that, not the whole resizing spells.
See, here's the thing. I genuinely don't know. I understand it's probably for the better of the game, to be honest. It's just, I think part of me is stubborn and grumpy, and like, I kind of feel like if I had to learn it the hard way, then you have to learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think the PKing community would benefit from it. So whatever the company decides is probably what I'll go with, to be honest.
Okay. What about you, Dino? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm quite strong on the opposite. I personally, it's the same with like any game. I feel like if you put the time in to learn it, you should be better.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to like, I know like I think on the blog they mentioned it wasn't going to be for PvP, I believe.
Correct.
I'm not, yeah, but at the same time, anti-drag they also said that, and then it ended up coming out, right?
Yeah.
It's
They'll
my
keep
mindset
pulling
is
it
just-
until it comes out.
yeah, yeah. It starts off with that, and then it's in the game. It's the same with anti-drag and stuff. Like with anti-drag, it made people so much better than they previously were.
Yeah.
And then the people that like put a lot of time in to get good, they stayed the same. Whereas I feel like the people, and again, I know this is rich coming from me now because I play the game loads. I'm really not the best, but I had the same mindset when I could play an hour a day when I worked full time. If you put the time in, you should be noticeably better. I don't like all like the stabilizer stuff, you know, like where it's making this easier, making that easier. And I use anti-drag as an example because before you could make lots of mistakes with anti-drag. You know, you could misclick a brew, you could drag it by mistake, you could misclick your switches. Whereas now none of that matters. You just click as fast as you can and the gear goes on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just don't like that sort of stuff. I'm not saying it would be like the end of the world if they changed the prayers and the spellbook size, but I think that's going down a very slippery path of it will just keep going, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem is like it's a snowball effect. When do you stop it? Are we gonna stop it if it kind of like continues? But
well, where else would it go? I mean, I understand that argument, the snowball effect, because there are things, but I don't feel like it would go much further than that. Now, I personally think that rearranging spells and rearranging prayers, obviously there is an effect to PvP, and it would potentially in certain situations make it so it's easier to PK slightly. But I also think that could benefit an advanced PKer as well. Now, resizing, I feel like, is where the biggest skill gap drops, where it kind of like they kind of close a bit. Now that, you know, that's I feel like I'm a bigger concern, but I still feel like at this point in the game, it's not the end of the world to do something like that. But that's my
I do
opinion.
agree that I do agree that reordering praise is probably the smaller like change out of them, because I mean you can already move items in your inventory, right? Like it's very popular nowadays to have for PKs to have their switches at the bottom since it's closer to everything else. But yeah, I don't know. Reordering praise is probably fine long term, honestly. If it encourages new people to get out and PK, then I'm all for it. I think majority of the updates that I have seen though that were kind of made as like oh yeah, we want this because like I wouldn't PK if this wasn't a thing, but then like you kind of look at the activity and you're like, well, nothing changed. So like where are all the people that said they were gonna PK once this change came through?
Yeah.
The skull trick thing is like the perfect example because so many people were just like, I don't PK because I can get skull tricked. Or like I don't anti PK because I can get skull tricked. And the change happened and nothing changed in the wilderness. Like everything kind of just remained the same.
Now, here's another question I have. This was brought up by Alkin on one of the casts a few months ago, is loadouts. So I'm talking about you go to your bank, you click, you're re-geared.
Absolutely. Without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, no, I again, at first I was a bit like, it's a bit private servery, but I'm fully on board with it now as well. Like, yeah, technically it does. It's not like old school, but again, we just have to move on from that, right? Like, just if I die, let me gear back up, let me go, you know?
See, that's what I'm thinking. And, you know, there could be some sort of a cost, you know, just a one-time fee, pay a banker, you get loadouts. Or you get, you know, a certain amount of loadouts. Maybe like one loadout equals 5 mil. And you could just, you know, pay 25 mil for 5 different loadouts.
Yeah.
I always like the GP syncs, mainly because there's so much goddamn GP in this game at this point. Like, everybody has stuff. Just spend the money. I'm a fan of that, and I'm one of those nerds that sets up bank tag layouts and just like spends a few hours trying to organize everything so it's perfect. But even I feel like loadouts for the wider player base, I'm including everybody in this: skillers, PVMers, PKers. I feel like everybody could benefit from it. There are downsides, however, and that is, you know, devaluing my sweatiness and other people's sweatiness that went above and beyond. But at this point, I feel like the pros completely outweigh the cons. It would be so much more fun if you run a top
I agree.
and you go to the top bank You just click twice, deposit all, click your bank tag, you're loaded out, go enjoy the game again instead of spending so much goddamn time at your bank.
I agree with that as well. I feel like anytime I want a PVM, I have to like, I don't know, I have to ask 50 billion questions because it was 6 months since I last did a TOA, and I don't remember what the fuck to bring anymore.
You're totally right. That's actually like, I feel like that's a bigger problem than people actually give credit for, is not doing a piece of content, like an advanced piece of content like TOA or any sort of raid. Seriously, I do not go do challenge mode raids because I forget what I'm supposed to bring. That's a serious problem.
I don't want to spend 20 minutes in the bank figuring out what I need to bring.
Yeah, chambers, CMs, you need like the pickaxe, the salvami, don't you? All of that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it all the time, you're always going to forget something.
I know. I feel like that would be one of the greatest updates they could bring out at this point. And I know not everybody agrees with it, but I feel like the vast majority of people would be totally on board at this point.
Yeah.
The game advances. The game progresses. We gotta, I don't know, gotta move on with it. Okay. A cold one asks, for Dino, how do you brush your teeth? And,
oh, I know why he's asking this
Is
question.
there a story to this?
Nah, there's no story.
What? What is
How do I even answer this, man? With a toothbrush, nice and normally. There's no need to tell the story. It's fine.
Okay.
What's the story? What did you do? Did you suck off the toothbrush?
Please don't make me tell the story, man.
Just
I don't know
tell
why
the
I'm getting dragged
story.
into this anyway. There's another streamer, okay, that...
I already know. I saw some sort of tweet. I think it's interconnected, but go for it.
Yeah, so there's a streamer called Tina, right?
Yeah,
she posted a tweet yesterday about something about to do like how to brush your teeth or something. People thought it was her, and then everyone started tagging me in it, and I don't know, man.
I love it. All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected better. I thought there was like some massive background story to like you doing something weird with a toothbrush.
If you
Wait,
saw
I
the
thought
tweet, you would
Did
know.
you not... Yeah, have you not
Did you
seen
see
the
it,
tweet?
Westham?
No, I've seen the Tina
Okay.
tweet. I just thought it was something else.
C Engineer linked it to us, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
All right, for Westham, how much takeaway have you been able to afford since claiming C Engineer's bounty?
I mean that would imply that I ought to be too, but
Yeah, come on, a cold one. You know.
Against the game rules, bro.
Theoretically.
I don't know, man. Theoretically, I order food. I'd say on average about once a week. I feel like that's like
That's
good.
good. That's like
I feel like that's like a good mentality to have, because then like you can treat yourself once a week to like just eating some garbage and not having to worry about cooking your own food.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes there's exceptions. If I get a deal on Uber, I'm taking it. I don't care. But for the most part, it's about once a week that I order.
Yeah, well, that's actually healthy. I mean, there was a point where it was seriously once or twice a day. I mean,
yeah, see, I've heard of shit like that, but then I also go, how the fuck do you finance that?
it just happens.
You kill
Now,
the engineer, man.
yeah, that's all you need. Just get one bounty. You're set for a month. No, that addiction's really real though. As soon as you, I would strongly discourage it. Yeah, if you're a degenerate and you haven't downloaded DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that, just don't.
Never do it.
Just don't, because it just becomes an addiction like anything else.
It's such a slippery slope, man. And I think every person on this earth would like to think of themselves as like being able to just like, because obviously they try to get you in by giving you these very good offers in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And almost everyone, including myself, thought that, oh yeah, I'm just going to use the deal and then never use it again. But I don't know. Like there was this one time that Uber was like, oh yeah, free delivery for a order over £25. And I ordered for £25 and I was just like, I don't know what to do with all this food.
Yeah, that's
why have I done
worst.
this? I've just wasted 25 quid. I didn't even need more than like probably a quarter of this food. What am I going to do with it?
He's just staring at it like, what have I done?
Yeah, so like I'll end up trying to eat as much as I fucking can, and at that point I'm not even eating because the food's actually good. I'm just eating to make sure that I'm not throwing anything away.
I know, that's so me, dude. The worst part is the rationalization that comes out where it's like, you start thinking like, oh, $30 for a pizza. That's fine. And it's like some franchise. It's just like some piece of shit pizza, but it's like you're so used to the just absurd prices that you're like, eh. And then when you actually go and just drive and get something and you realize the pizza was only like $9 normally, you're like, holy fuck, I've been robbed.
Yeah, I think it's wildly different in the States, but because like when I was in Canada, I did realize that like what I ordered was only like half of the price of the rest of the shit that comes afterwards. Because obviously when I was there, I was hanging out with my friends, and they told me that like, oh yeah, you have to tip. Like you're a cunt if you don't. So there was like the tipping. I think there was like some form of tax that came along with it, and like that was all stuff that I didn't factor in because we don't do that here. So my order, which was originally like $12, all of a sudden turned into like 22, and I was just like, where the fuck did this come from? And all of a sudden, you spent way more money than what you originally planned on spending.
Oh yeah, it always happens.
So I don't. Yeah, if you haven't ever downloaded it, definitely never use it. There's no point.
There really, I mean, unless you're just a really responsible person that has self-awareness. I mean, yeah.
But I think it's just easy for us because, like, if we're hungry during a stream, we know that we'd have to end the stream if we want to go and cook something.
It's true.
So just ordering is so like it's such an easy solution.
Okay, here's a little change of topic. Aaron Carley asks, do you guys think a system like combat achievements or achievement diaries could be designed for PvP? If so, what would be some challenges you guys would like to see? Is that even feasible?
Can I just say like flat out no? Is that disrespectful?
It's not disrespectful. It's honest.
Thing is, it could be, but it would all be boostable, right?
It would all be boosted. Yep.
Yeah, if it's PvP, like you just need to kill another player. But I'm obviously looking at it from like a real broad angle. But so what's to stop you just getting your other account, killing it, and then just getting the Zuckhelm equivalent or whatever, you know? It's I would like it, but you just know people would abuse it.
Yep.
Yeah, a bit of a depressing answer to that fella's question, which he probably thought was like a good. I feel like he hoped for a better answer.
It's a good, like I would love that, you know, but you just know everyone's going to abuse it. It's like we said with the mini games earlier. Like everyone will just do the most efficient way. They won't actually do the activity now.
It would be so incredibly hard to come out with like more than 10 tasks. I mean, seriously, is it just loadouts like kill somebody in barrows? Like, great, it's gonna be fun.
PK and AGS, yeah, stuff like that.
Just stupid stuff. Now, I will say, yes, obviously it's some other thing to do, and everybody likes number go up, but like, I can't see that being successful in any way.
No, I wish it was, but I don't think that would be a way.
Number go up.
You know what?
That's quite a good way to describe it.
I will say though, something I personally enjoy. Now, I don't know if you guys have spent much time. I know you guys are like obviously PK as your content, and mainly that's what you do in game. But there are places that are really cool, in my opinion. For example, the catacombs of Kourend give ancient totems and ancient shards. Just passively, you just do stuff in the you just go in there, kill stuff, get these passive items. I think what would be cool is if the wilderness had certain of those caves, like a cave where you're just in there doing shit regardless of what's in there. You're killing players, or you're killing monsters, or who knows, maybe there's even rocks you can mine, or just an activity, a cave in there that you get passive resources. And I think it's kind of inspired from Mod Soften's whole wilderness expansion idea of just having like a Scotizo out in the wilderness where you get these totems or something, and then you go and kill the wilderness boss that's like deep in there, and you get some other crazy things. I like the idea of doing something but getting rewarded passively that you're not even paying attention to.
Probably what the Rev boss would have been.
It's kind of a thing anyway, right? Because Laren's keys, I guess, to a degree.
Yes, that. I like that.
I really like that. I think Laren's chest should be buffed because it's not
100%.
But yeah, I really like that idea. Just, again, any incentive to do an activity, I'm all for it. And yeah, revs, is that what you said, Casper? Rev bots?
Yeah, I feel like Rev Boss probably should have been there. Or even like Laren's Keys just having like a boss that you would have to fight rather than just going and opening a chest.
Well, yeah, I don't mind Larens as it is with chests, but yeah, with Revs, I feel like they should have done it where you PVM in Revs, and then, like Hill Giants drop a giant key.
Yeah.
Revs drop a ghostly key, and then you can go and kill the boss, and the boss is like much more, or just much better than the current one. But
That would be way
Just
cool.
like, I don't know. There's something about like Laren's chest. I feel like it's so underwhelming. It's like if I were to open a CS:GO case that had a maximum reward of 50 cents. Like I don't know if I kind of want to get like some shiny new knife that is worth a shit ton as like a 1 in a million, but instead I can get Dagonhide that's worth 2.5 mil.
yeah, Laren's a really good concept, but it needs a rework as far as the rewards. Even if it's just one, like a really rare item, I'm not gonna. Okay, say I name it up like Third Age. I know everyone's gonna freak out. Like that'll devalue clues, but like like one like real high ticket item, and I think it would save it. But yeah, the high ticket item is like 200k. It's not really.
It's not great.
Worth.
I think what would be cool is, first of all, if Laren's keys could just be given at maybe a lower rate, just if you're not even on task, you're just doing anything out in the wilderness, you could have a rare chance of getting a Laren's key, or just some other key, like I was saying, some totem piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what you say, like maybe cosmetics or a cosmetic skull, if the dead man mode thing doesn't come out, you could just get some, I don't even know. I'm just trying to think of stuff, but usually
just anything.
Yeah,
it's just an upgrade.
Exactly. Usually when you get passive stuff for doing something you're already going to do, it just feels better, like a point system, just something that's stacking in the back of your mind. It's nice.
Yeah, well, that's a big pull for the wilderness at the moment, right? Like the Wildy Slayer, it's Laren's keys. Well, I think it used to be. I don't know if it is much of a big pull now. It probably isn't, but
Wildy Slayer used to be better as well, didn't it? Back when we used to be able to get emblems.
Yeah,
that was just Deadman mode, wasn't it? Or was that Bounty Hunter as well?
That was Bounty Hunter.
Used to be. No, I swear you could get just like regular tier 1 emblems from doing Wildy Slayer.
Oh yeah. It was if you were on a Bounty Hunter world, you would also get them from bosses without being on tap or something like that. But yeah, you're right. It was through Wildy Slayer. You could just get those level 1 emblems.
Yeah, because I remember I did all of my. Obviously, you need to get like 69 Slayer to wield a heavy value, right? And for most of my accounts, I used to do Wildy Slayer, and it would generate me not an insane amount. I think it was something like 2.5 mil an hour. Maybe I'm overestimating here, but like you would get both Laren's keys and tier 1 emblems, which I don't know. It was just like a nice thing to passively get as you were doing the content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I think stuff like that should be. There should be more stuff like that in the game, like just the passive stuff. I really like it.
Yep. I've always been a huge fan of just a certain dungeon that drops other random passive stuff. Those are places that are just so much more fun. I don't know, in my opinion, just getting little things. So, okay. Let's see. Ooh, I got a genie. Let's fucking go. Sorry. All right. I got my genie. All right.
I'm so confused.
You got a Jamie?
A genie in game.
Oh, I thought you said Jamie.
Yeah, so did I. I was just like, who the fuck is Jamie?
Yeah, I think you got to some guy's question named Jamie and just got really happy about it.
No.
Like, let's go. Jamie asked me something.
Oh god, no. It was a genie lamp, guys. Come on.
Which put the XP on? That's the real question.
I put it on mining, even though I'm literally maxed. Yeah, I was kind of sarcastic. I don't actually care about genies, but I still get the same dopamine rush as being like a level 3. You know, you getting your genie, so it feels good.
Free XP in it.
Yeah. All right.
Level 3, don't they literally give like 10 XP?
It's like, no, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. To be honest, they should just get rid of those. They should get rid of the multiplier. They should just have a genie lamp be like 1,000 XP regardless of where you're at. Like that would be so busted. At a level 3. Yeah, but that'd be fun though. It'd be cool. Cool. A lot of dopamine. Let's be honest. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Robert wanted us to delay this pot. Well, it's too fucking late. We already started the podcast. He wanted us to delay. And now,
well, fuck it, fellas. Just no. Just cancel real quick.
I will say, I would have been down for that, but I know you guys are just gonna be hella busy enjoying the update, and then by the time I would get you guys on, the update would already have a bunch of problems, and all we'd be doing is complaining about it. So I figured it would just be best to have it.
For all we know, there's going to be a rollback before that happens.
All right, don't even put that out there, man.
You and me both are going to PK Karasi. We're going to get really happy, and then Jaggers are going to go, oopsie doopsie, we made a mistake.
Oh man. Well, Jaggets have just revealed, I say just about an hour ago, I think, some of the bosses and their thingy. I've just been getting mass atted about it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think they were because I think they were live. I think they were going through. I haven't seen anything. I'm not sure, but.
Okay, here's a topic from Sham in parentheses, add bounty hunter back to OSRS, close parentheses. Great name on Twitter. All right, his question is, do you guys think half TBs should be removed? It's way too easy to escape in 2.5 minutes by randomly jumping around or with a big door. And his other question is, when will Dino take Tina on a date? I regret having read that second question.
Why have you read this one out?
Yeah.
Let's just focus on the first one, yeah?
Honestly, if you ever want to escape that situation, just say you're in love with me instead. you switch sexuality, it'll be fine. Like,
I'll keep that one in mind, man, all right?
Yeah, like that can just be your escape from this entire like funny haha laugh at Dino because he likes Tina.
What, so instead we laugh at Dino because he loves West Ham? Like, is that better? I'm confused.
We could just stage a marriage or something, I don't know.
I'm kind of down for this. We'll talk more after. You know.
All right, TB
sorry,
timer.
what's the question? The TB, yeah?
Yeah. Is it... yeah, you guys have to... It sounds like he has a problem with it. Now he wants everybody else to have a problem with it too. Like, go for it.
No, he pretty gets that from me because he watches me. So again, it goes back to revs. I think half TBs have a place in the game. They definitely should. But it's in the current stage, just like I said earlier, if you half TB a PVMer at revs, you have to be in max everything. Everything has to go right. The stars have to align. You have to hit every spec, and you might have a chance of killing them. It's really hard to kill a guy in double D hide with a Dinsball arc at revs when they're abusing like the agility jumps and all that stuff. But then outside of revs, it's the opposite. Like it's like we said earlier, it's just a real hard balance. But I think half TB should be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like half TBs, if you could only land full TVs, I mean, who would want that realistically? Like, obviously, PKers could just go and bully every single PVMer until the wilderness is completely dry at that point.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of busted.
Thinking about it, sounds kind of fun. Let's do that. No, half TB should definitely be a thing.
All right. Let's see.
I feel like there's a decent amount of Tina ones.
Yeah.
I'm looking through and I'm shaking. I'm genuinely like.
Yeah, no, that was my bad on the second question. Okay, here's one. I haven't even read this one yet. It doesn't. I scanned it for Tina, but we're good. I think we're clear on this. But this guy's name is Thief, and he asks, do you think there's a space/need for the old iteration of singles/PJ timer? If not for singles teams, for small friends, groups of 2 to 4 that would otherwise be outgunned in multi. If so, what's that look like in the current climate? So he's just basically talking about like how small team PKing is pretty much dead. Is there any chance of revival for it?
I mean, go. Sorry.
No, you go. I think we both could talk about this for 8 hours, I think.
I mean, okay, so what they were planning on doing from the beginning with the bounty hunter worlds, in my opinion, was fine. Like, have everywhere else be single plus, where, like, you can't get PJ'd, and then for the people that wanted the, I don't know, like, the old wilderness, you had 2 worlds. Like, that was fine. But they just never went through with that for some reason.
Yeah. I just miss it, man. But again, it's like we said earlier, you couldn't go back to doing it now because there's overpowered stuff. Like Barrett, Ancient Godsword, Crystal, that wasn't in the game before the PJ timer. I think Crystal just was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people see it as an either or when it could just be.
I still think it was perfect, man. Back then, like I don't know if I'm living in dreamland. Yeah, teams were annoying, but they weren't all the time. You know, you still got some solo fights. Towards the end, it got a bit stale, but that was mainly because there's no content in the wildy, not so much teams. You know, like. It's I could just go on forever. I just remember like PKing with like a small group on my Discord. And they was all noobs, and we'd all just be like having fun. It's like the most fun you have or the most fun I had on the game would be like 5 people messing around at Mage Bank, sort of trying to teach them how to PK, and then a team would log in. You have to tank it. I miss all that stuff because now it's just the same encounter every single time.
Yeah.
But I going direct to the question, I don't think there would be a way to implement it now because I think it's like too far gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. And there's no feasible way of just adding a multi-zone that's like small team multi. It's impossible. It's like it
Yeah,
just
no, that
doesn't
would be
make
again.
sense.
It goes back to being like so many rules, right?
I
Like
know.
there's this PJ timer, this is singles plus, this is 2v2s, this is
I know.
I feel like a big misconception that a lot of people have when people like myself cry about the PJ timer is they're like, just go multi. It is not the same. There is nothing. There is absolutely nothing similar with like old singles PKing, where it would be like 5-on-5 in single way combat, to multi, where you'd be 3 people and you'd have 100 people crystal bows running after you. It's like they are not linked in any way.
Yeah. Damn.
I just say it because a lot of people always be like, if you want to PK friends, just go multi. It's like,
So dumb.
nah.
Yeah.
So if you PVM with a giant mole, it's like say just go in TOB. Like they're both PVM, but they're not really the same, level of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's I don't understand this question, but you guys will have to explain to me. Eevescape asks, how much debt were you in after miscalculating the USD to AUD conversion rate?
Fuck.
What happened?
This one, I think
This is all
one's
Casper's
entirely-
fault,
Yeah,
by the way.
this is literally only my fault.
What happened?
I mean, okay, both of us thought the same thing, but I was the dumb fuck that went through with it. And at that point, I think if Dino donated less because it was the appropriate amount, then he would look very greedy. Yeah, I mean, we kind of won the BR prize thinking it was USD, and then it was just not, and it was basically AUD, which is just monopoly money. And yeah, I don't
Monopoly
know.
Junior money.
We chucked we chucked away a decent size of the prize money, probably more than what we intended.
Sorry, what am I saying? Jesus Christ! I just had when your mind just goes off and you're like, what are you
happens
talking
all
about?
the time. Yeah.
Yeah. No. For the context, when we won BR, we got a lot of help from. Again, you're not meant to team in the BR. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't have won without skill specs. And then skill specs' partner, who was pure spam, DC'd halfway through. So it was Casper's idea, and I fully agreed that give some of the winnings to them. But yeah, when we donated, however much we donated to them, we done it thinking it was USD, and yeah, it was not. It was Australian money, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Still, by the way, I feel like in hindsight, like I giga put you on the spot.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If I wanted to say no, I couldn't have. But
yeah, like
No,
that's kind of what I mean.
it was a sick idea. Like I'm pretty down for it as well, because we wouldn't have won without skill specs. It's that simple, and it's not fair that pure spam DC'd halfway through. So it made sense. Like
I just want you to know that I am sorry for that. I've
written it down. Don't worry, it's been noted, Casper. Okay.
I was so hyped out of my fucking mind.
Bro, so was
that
I, man.
word just started they started spewing out my mouth, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Nah, it was definitely the right idea. But yeah, we donated a sum to them in USD, and we got paid in Australian money, which was
So
the downside.
awkward.
Okay.
That is so funny. Okay. Here's a topic from Daniel Leeson. He asks, if you guys were invited to the BR again, but told you weren't able to partner up, who would you choose to partner up with? You both provide quality content. Glad to see you're both doing so well in the category.
I'm gonna let him answer first. I want him to stab me in the back before I do it.
I already know your answer though, man. So you know, I'm always second best in Casper's eyes. It makes me sad.
No, you are not, because I already said I got like a similar question on stream before, where I said like I wouldn't really want to imagine giving up like the. I mean, honestly, it might just be that he fucking hates me and I have no idea. But like, I feel like the dynamic that we built up ever since like we became friends from, I think it was Method, to be honest. It's
Bro,
just
I feel like you're about to propose to me right now. What is
no,
this?
we've just had like a good like duos ever since then. I feel like
It's because we both got that Method league tournament that we had where it was just bolting each other, and we was like, what do we do?
Oh yeah. Oh, should we explain that? Maybe we should. There was like a Trailblazer. I don't know, some form of like league tournament that Method did that it sounded good in theory until we commentated. I think it was like 6 hours of people just bolt ragging each other to death.
You know the second league where you could like have like 2-tick crossbows and stuff. Yeah. It was like that. So range was overpowered, and everyone was just bolting each other. And me and Cassie for 6 hours was like. And he's bolting him, and it was again nothing wrong with Method whatsoever. You know, it was a good idea, but the meta just didn't work, and it was a very hard one to try and make sound exciting. You know.
Yeah. Dear God.
But yeah, Casper, be our partner. Go on, throw me under the bus.
I mean, if I had to pick a different person, it probably would be Stewie. Although I feel like he hasn't really like live streamed or created content in such a long time, but like regardless, I wouldn't want to switch partner.
Well, I want to switch partner, so all
right. God damn it! All right, Dino,
I love
who
Stewie.
would your be?
Mine would have to be. It's got to be Mr. Specs. I love him. I absolutely love Skill Specs. It'd be weird because I'm more of like a fan than anything, you know. So I feel like the whole time I would just be there, like
fanboying him.
Yeah, literally. But
riding his coattails.
No, I'm a massive fan of Skill Specs. So yeah,
he's awesome. I had the pleasure of speaking to him for a couple hours on the cast, and that dude is just naturally just funny.
He's just so nice.
He is. He's just good to be around. Just good company, man. Yeah, that's
100%.
It's an admirable trait to have. Just people like being around him, and yeah, it's cool.
I'd much rather him than West Ham, to be honest, but I kind of got stuck with this guy. So
again, all right. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit and kind of ask what your guys' morning routines are as streamers and how it's maybe changed over the years of, being a content creator. I think we all three can kind of relate in a certain way of just, it's got its own, I don't know. I can't even say hardships. That's a joke to even say, but it's just different. It's a different thing.
It's a lot of self-discipline, isn't it? Like you have to.
Yes. One person in this call has mastered it. The other two we're just sitting back, just shit. No, but I want to ask both of you kind of how it's gone. So Dino, first, what's your morning routine like, and how is it kind of? Yeah.
I am looking forward to know Casper's answer here, to be honest. But mine's boring. Again, I tried to fix mine about 6 months ago.
Okay.
Because I pretty much wake up, roll out of bed, maybe have some food, and stream, which used to be okay. But it's got to the point now where if sometimes you wake up and you're not fully like awake, and then your chat see that, and then they'll try and like piss you off more than you can imagine, and then it just spirals. And so I now try and wake up like a good few hours before. But I will admit I'm struggling with it. Like I set the alarm early, and I will just be laying there for 3 hours, like going back to sleep, And the dream is to wake up a good few hours before stream, I don't know, like go for like a run and stuff, but it's easy to say, and then when you actually go around to doing it, it's not as easy. So yeah, at the moment I pretty much roll out of bed, get some make some toast, and then literally stream, and that's it. After stream, do some YouTube, and then go back to bed. It's a bit of a boring life, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, that's so what's your like meals looking like after the stream?
So it'll depend. I still live with my family, so sometimes I will be able to jump on like their meals and I have like actual food. Mm-hmm. If I have to make stuff for myself, it is either a pizza, chicken nuggets, or a pot noodle. And normally the pot noodle wins, to be honest, or a Rustler's burger as well. But I haven't had one of them in a long time, so yeah, it's not the best food wise. I can't cook.
Now, before I move on to West Ham, I want to ask. So, first I just got to say, I mean, your success on Twitch has just been astounding. It's really cool to see, man. Like, you're killing it, and on top of it, you understand the position you're in, and you're taking advantage of it. You're being very consistent, and you've just created an amazing community. So, just props to you for that. It's amazing to see.
Man, you're making me blush.
No, I mean seriously, you deserve a lot of credit. You're just a great entertainer, and you've grown so much in the past couple of years. It's just been awesome to see. I want to ask, do you have any plans in the near future, like maybe this year or next year, to move out and just do you have any plans with content creation or just with your life in general in the next couple of years?
I'm very much a sort of see what happens type of person, which isn't good. I would love to move out. I plan to move out just before COVID with a mate, but obviously COVID happened, so it all fell through. So I end up being out. Again, nothing wrong with living at home whatsoever. I don't want to be sitting here I get on really well with my family. They're super supportive and everything, but you get to a degree where you're like, okay, I want to move out.
Yep.
I'm definitely at that point, but it is really not straightforward to move in the UK. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, and yeah, originally I was going to move in with a mate, which I wouldn't have minded. Whereas now, obviously, it's looking like I'm going to move out alone, which is fine, but it's a little bit scarier, you got a bit more responsibility. So yeah, I would like to look at moving. As far as streams and stuff, man, I don't know. It sounds so corny, and I hate being asked this as well, but I genuinely don't believe the sort of. It sounds a bit arrogant as well, I guess, if you put it like this. I don't believe the sort of numbers I'm pulling at the moment. I feel like it's massively undeserved, and I don't know what's happening, but I'm very, very thankful for it. And yeah, I'm just sort of expecting one day to wake up and it just sort of will go away. But while it's not, I'm sort of enjoying it while it lasts. I don't know. I do not know what we've done to deserve it, but yeah, stuff's going really well at the moment, so I'm very, very happy.
No, I think it's obviously it might not be as clear to you, but it's from an outside perspective, it's pretty clear. You've taken advantage of what you've got and what you have naturally. You are a naturally entertaining dude. You're likable as hell, which is, I'm sorry to say, but not a common. Okay, let me take a step back. Let me just say, you've got it going on, and you've got also the great time zone of just being early morning for a lot of Americans, where you're waking up. There's not many streamers online, and you're always consistent. You're there, you're providing the content, and it's just great. So,
no, thank you. Like I say, it's it just doesn't seem real. Thank you. It's a very strange one. I think it was at the beginning because I really enjoyed it. I enjoy playing RuneScape. So when I would work in full time, I would get up early and I'd look forward to streaming. That's what I done on my day off. So when you sort of take the jump to become a full time streamer, it's very different because you don't sort of see it as a job, but you have to take it a bit more seriously.
Yep. Okay, Westham, I want to hear about your morning routine, and then I'll ask a couple more questions.
Fam, I'm gonna seem like the biggest degenerate.
That's why I'm not answering this question. All right, go for it.
My morning routine is pretty much I'll wake up whenever I wake up, and I don't know. I get out of bed fairly quickly. I'll go through what I need to do pretty quickly. I'll I don't know, put my contacts in, have a shower, brush my teeth, brush my tongue.
Why did you include brush your tongue in that?
He's still imagining that tweet from Tina. All right, go.
100%.
I don't know. Do whatever chores I have to do. Typically, I don't know. Obviously, not every day, but you do have to do laundry, dishes, clean the apartment, and shit like that.
Let me just interrupt and say that alone makes you way less of a degenerate than a lot of people that are self-proclaimed degenerates. They do not do chores. Anyway. Keep going.
Well, I mean, I live on my own, right? And my parents, I fucking love them, but I was 18 and a half, and they pretty much just went, "Hey, you have a lot of points. You can find an apartment. Bye bye." Fuck off. We don't want you here anymore.
Wait,
so
you're correct me if I'm wrong. You're the youngest, right?
I'm 22. Yeah.
But you're the youngest of your. For some reason, I have a feeling I think I heard this
I'm the youngest of my family. I have five brothers and two sisters.
They just wanted you out.
I was the last one out, and they were kind of just yeah, bro, we're tired of kids. Fuck off.
Okay, I see.
So my first apartment that I got was fairly big, and I had no money, none at all. So I lived with one table, obviously the PC setup that I had at home. and a bed, and that was about it. To be honest, I didn't really have anything else, and I lived like that for quite some time. I worked part-time for probably, I'd say, like 3 weeks, if even less, before I earned enough from Twitch to like at least pay my rent and then whatever I could eat.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I don't need that much money to get by, to be honest. So I kind of just jumped at the opportunity straight away. But where was I? Oh yeah, morning routine. I don't know. Aside from that, I kind of just like I'll stream whenever I want to stream. Obviously, I work on YouTube, but that's kind of like a passive thing. You can just play the game and work towards a video.
Mhm.
And since you're not like streaming, you don't have to like be live entertaining anybody. I've always kind of been one of those people on Twitch that I've never had a schedule. People just see me go live and they tune in, and that's another reason to why I'm like so shocked at the fact that I still have an audience. There's been so many times throughout my entire like journey on Twitch that I've just taken a month off, 2 months off, and still when I just come back out of the blue, there's still people there like watching me. That just baffles me, to be honest.
That's cool.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. In comparison to Dino, I'm a lazy shitbag, to be honest.
It's hard to compare with Dino. Yeah, I find myself in the same position. I want to ask about your YouTube because the quality of your videos has just skyrocketed over the last year or so, and it's been really entertaining content. And I feel like your YouTube's also grown quite substantially as well.
Yeah.
So what is YouTube for you? Like, do you enjoy
So,
it?
I definitely enjoyed it at first. I'd say I don't enjoy it as much as I used to now, but at the same time, I kind of realized that like Twitch wasn't really what I wanted to do. I don't really want to rely on like other people's generosity in order to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Uh, Even though like they are fully like, I don't know, if someone wants to give me money, they can give me money, obviously, but I still felt like it wasn't reliable, especially with how I am. So I figured that starting YouTube would probably be a good idea. And I had already done YouTube for many years. I just never did commentary stuff, right? And that's like where essentially like how you grow your channel. So I already knew how to edit. The only thing I needed to figure out like how to do was just how to make like an entertaining video with my voice rather than just music. And I wouldn't say I've figured it out, not by any means, but I've definitely gotten better. And I think my YouTube success just overall, it's been a blessing because now I no longer view Twitch as like a job. And somehow that has helped me go live more than what it did before. Because now I'm kind of enjoying Twitch again.
Yep. When it stops becoming about the money.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if I get like one sponsor per month from YouTube, that's enough for me to get by, and that's all I need.
That's cool. Do you have any plans for YouTube? Any like big stuff coming in the next year or two?
um, Not necessarily. I think setting goals is always good, but at the same time, I can't predict where like the OSRS section on YouTube is gonna go. So I'm just gonna, I don't know. I'm gonna do what I enjoy, and I'll do it for as long as it works. When it stops working, maybe I'll try something different. But for now, I'm just gonna do what I enjoy and hope that it like pays off.
Very cool. Yeah, that's I feel like I can sort of relate to you a little bit where Twitch is stressful. Uh, you know, simply because if there's one month where you make enough to comfortably live and then you may have another month where it's like, oh crap, I got to kind of, be a little bit more frugal with my
Yeah,
money. It's stressful, and it honestly is part of the reason why streaming becomes like you can't be as happy streaming sometimes because you're so stressed out about stuff. So YouTube for me has also been a huge blessing, especially with podcasting. Timeless podcasts are great, especially when you check analytics and you have like a random podcast a year and a half ago. It's just popping off all of a sudden. You're like, oh, that's nice. I'm not even doing anything, and it's just YouTube's algorithms going off. It's nice.
It's you're just making money over time. I think YouTube in that sense really saved me because, I mean, obviously now YouTube is a bit of a chore and like it's become like it's taken the place that Twitch used to have for me, which is like it became boring because it's a job. But I don't know. I think maybe this year I can reignite that spark. I feel like for the last few months of like 2022, I was like really just trying to release stuff that I thought would do really well rather than what I enjoyed doing.
Mm.
And I'm just going to go back to doing what I enjoyed doing because unironically, those were the best videos that I had.
Awesome. Okay.
Also,
yeah, go
sorry.
for it. No, go for it.
Just one more thing. I'd like to contribute, honestly, a very large portion of my YouTube success to Pip. He's been... He was pretty much the main reason because the first video that I made that actually popped off was my rushing DMers video. And that was the first video that Pip was like with me editing. And he had already done it for a while. So like he understood how I should portray it to people. Because to me, there's a lot of aspects in like my YouTube videos that I would just look at and I would just be like, oh, this doesn't need explaining. Like this is so blatantly obvious that I don't need to explain it. But I wouldn't put myself in like the mind of the average player. And with that, he's just helped me so much. Pretty much every video that I've ever made since then, Pip has contributed to in some way or another.
Big shout out. That's sick. Yeah, I think honestly, I say the future is bright for both of you. I think both of you are just great entertainers. I mean, seriously, it's both of your guys' previous episodes were super fun, and this one already 2 hours in has just been an absolute blast. So I know both of you just have those entertaining qualities, so it's cool to see. And I don't doubt for a moment that you guys will be very successful in the next couple of years of just continued content creation.
One can hope.
You say that now, man. Tomorrow something will come out, we both get cancelled, and it's all over. It's been fun.
Nah, it doesn't happen like that. All right.
I'd like to clarify, we haven't done anything that actually deserves getting cancelled. Just so we're clear.
Just gotta do a little bit more research, but we'll find something. No. Okay, here's a topic going back to RuneScape a little bit. Any advice? This is coming from Westham's community post. Big shout out to Westham. This guy, ex-Coolie Man, is asking, any advice for people interested in getting in PvP / ideas, bring new people to PvP? That didn't make too much sense, but I think we get the picture toward the end. So, yeah.
To basically get into PKing, yeah?
Exactly.
But we got, again, I know I do, and I think you do as well, Casper. Get asked like every day on stream, right?
It's such a hard question to answer because, like, both me and Dino started PKing as kids, and we grew with the community. We got better as everyone else got better, and we kind of watched like the scene go, I don't know, from like very simple to very advanced. So like putting myself in the shoes of someone that's starting right now is like almost impossible for me. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah, it's a very, very hard one. It's the main thing to get into PKing is you want to, if you really want to do it, you want to be fighting people to a similar level as you. But it's really hard to find people the similar level of people who are starting now because everyone is just really good, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't want to put him off. Like, I don't want to be like, yeah, you, there's no chance. There's a lot of ways, like last man standing, you know, and stuff. There's a lot of ways to get into it, but it's very hard for us to say because the way I got into it was, I think I mentioned this last time I was on the cast, was like Fire Strike PKing at Vrock. That's not a thing.
The hollow tree.
Yeah, and this is like 2004, 2005. Yeah. Like, I can't give what worked for me because it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's a very hard one to answer. I would just say if you're looking to get into it, any form of PKing will help you. When Bounty Hunter comes out, I recommend, you know, because I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of newer people starting Bounty Hunter when it comes out. So you might get like fairer matches then. Try that out, you know, any style, and then just see what you like and just work from there. It's a very hard one to answer.
If I had any advice, and I'm not a PKer, but I will say my confidence in PKing is way, way higher after doing LMS. I mean, I was a total noob. I'm talking like I didn't even know where to put my items when I was PKing. I was just so clueless. I didn't even know what items to bring in a PK setup. LMS taught me that, and LMS got me really good at switching, and now I feel like I could easily hold my own in a 1v1 if I was geared up for it in the wilderness. So my recommendation is get into LMS and then prepare for Bounty Hunter if you're actually really interested in getting into PvP.
Yeah, LMS is definitely good for learning because again, you risk nothing as well, right? Like,
yeah, and it's
there's
fun.
no downside to it as far
it's
as
fast
learning.
paced. You don't have to sit and hop worlds a million times.
No, it's good for getting like prayers down, gear switches down, and again, it's the type of PK. Like he might be wanting to get into, like the old Bounty Hunter where it's like magic shortbow Gmaul, so you don't really have to do your prayers and stuff. I feel like Jagex has focused so much on tribridding that it's put a lot of people off because
big facts.
At least back in the day, I think Casper will agree, tribridding was kind of like the end goal of PKing. Like it was the hardest thing to do, or at least it was seen as the hardest thing to do, because like you have to do your gear, your prayer, everything. Whereas PKing used to be a lot simpler. You just click someone, you try and get a spec on them and to kill them, like a magic shortbow AGS. Whereas no one really talks about that sort of PKing anymore. That was like a huge stepping stone for me. I went from free to play to then start doing stuff like the magic shortbow PK, not tribridding. If I just like tried to learn tribridding straight away, I don't think I'd ever have picked it up. Like there's so much to learn, from nothing.
There really is, to be honest. And I also have to take a step back and realize I had already played this game for 15,000 hours before I got an LMS. So that helped, just understanding the game's tick system and stuff. But yeah.
Tribridding was always like a little niche spin-off of PKing, whereas it seems like the last few years, Jagex has just been like, this is PKing. And I don't think that's really a good thing to do because it's quite involved.
You're totally right. Dude, what if they came out with an LMS that was like risk-free, super fast-paced, and it's just you going head-to-head 1v1 with like, like you said, like a MSB and an AGS, or just something like that, where you just have a setup, you try to PK each other, spec regens a little bit faster than normal, and what you can do is like you have a tele tab there, but when you click it, you just reset the fight almost, and then the other guy like gets a point. I don't know, just something like that. That's
something
risk-free.
along them lines. Yeah, it's again, I don't want to advertise. Obviously, this server's shut down now, but like just dipping toes into like private servers and whatever. Wait, why are you laughing? Is this bad?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I definitely played a lot of private servers back in my time, but it's so scary to mention as a content creator. I feel like
I'm not saying it's a good thing. Okay,
it just comes down to risk-free. That's the biggest thing. Is like
I was just going. There was like those tournaments basically where like you'd all be in the same gear, like DH gear for like Darox. And the winner would get like, I don't know, say like a mil, nothing amazing, but these tournaments would be like every few hours, every couple of hours. And it's so simple. Anyone could just turn up, you have the same gear. Yeah, it's down to RNG because you have the same food, you might hit, you might not. But no one really cares because it's such like little rewards and no risk,
Yeah.
I feel like old school should focus more on that sort of side of PKing than like an H-stake, DD brid and tribrid.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, I retract the statement about private servers. I hate them and they're very bad.
Redacted.
In case of a federal investigation, I was added here by a third party.
Westham, do you have any advice? Any further advice?
I mean, I think the best and simplest way to learn PKing in this era is to just go on the lowest bracket possible. Having one defense will be the most punishing, but you don't risk a lot, and at the same time, it's a good thing that you'll get used to like just taking damage for your mistakes. So I don't know. That's all I've got.
Okay. Well, yeah, I feel like if you're really passionate about getting into PKing, those are usually the people that aren't necessarily asking those questions. Sorry to be like, sort of honest about it. I feel like the people that are really interested in getting into it just get into it. They find Discord communities, they go out into the wilderness, they just start doing stuff. So biggest thing is just go out and play. Just have fun. Try to learn stuff and just die a bunch.
Yeah, it's definitely hard now. That's how I feel for him. It's again, I go back to my Discord. I'd like go on trips with him, and sort of teach him little bits. But you can't do that now. It's very much like you against someone, and that other person is probably going to be a lot better than you if you're just starting.
Yeah,
it's a very hard thing to do.
I'd even say just go in the Rev Caves, just start bolting people. Bring a DDS as your spec weapon, and just bring some Zarishans, and just mess around, Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So, I guess I'll ask this. So this is coming from Devil Jordas. He asks your favorite and most hated parts about PvP generally, and also about the wilderness. I feel like this is a pretty easy question to answer, so I guess we can just cover it briefly.
I think my favorite parts about PvP is when I have like a funny interaction with another player that's like not like a toxic interaction, but just like a wholesome interaction with another player where like it could be that either one of us like just die or something and we're both like respectful about it. Or just like have a laugh as one of us is losing or something like that. I feel like those are the best interactions when I find someone that's like a good person that is doing PvP and it's just in it for the fun. You can tell it they're in it for the fun. That makes it way more fun for the both of us rather than having like some giga toxic interaction where we're both just flaming each other, caring about like ego.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's also refreshing to watch. Like if I'm watching a stream, in fact, I was watching your stream, Westham, and you're just out by the I guess the Chaos Altars, kind of close to the KBD layer, and just some guy.
Yeah.
You're just having a casual conversation, like, want to fight? Sure, smiley face. You just start fighting like that. That's refreshing to see, because I feel like to a lot of people that don't PK, they see PKers as like just hateful. Just want to like take out their anger on a video game, but a lot of people just enjoy PKing for PKing. It's fun.
It's crazy how much of a divide there is between like PKers and PVMers over such a simple thing. It's just like people enjoying different aspects of the game. Like, do you really think that just because someone is a PKer that they would be any different, like morally or like just as a human than what you are? I doubt it.
Yeah. Dino, do you have any other thoughts on that? I feel like that really does cover it. Just like player interaction.
Yeah, I was going to say I completely agree with Casper there. I would much rather have a fun fight with someone, like I don't know, one of us, even me, someone do like a real stupid mistake and then, laugh at it, someone dies from it, than like have to try really hard and I manage to get the kill. I'd rather, just sort of like relax and just have a nice interaction with people. It's just few and far between these days because, a lot of people are like very much, they have to win, have to win, have to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, whenever you get a random fight, I had one earlier. I had a random fight with someone, and it's just so, like you said, refreshing, because they're not all the time anymore. You enjoy it even more, where you just like you both just realize you're playing a game and you're just having a bit of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Probably gonna wrap things up a little bit, but first I want to ask you guys for a couple shout outs. I'm not doing the same thing where I just force you guys to share 3 shout-outs, but if there is any like content creator or just people in the community in general that you'd like to give just a little shout-out to, feel free. Westham, you can go first if you have like 1 to 3 people.
Probably a shout-out to just Pip, man. I don't know, that guy's been such a massive help just throughout everything. I really can't stress enough like how much he has done for me, and like obviously I'll try to do like the favor back, but I think I need his help more than he needs me.
Hell yeah. Dino?
Mine would have to just be to my mod team, basically. They give me a lot of abuse, and I give them a lot of abuse, and have done over the last 3 years. But I think that's how all streamers work, right? It's basically with my mods, it kind of worked out. Like they didn't ask to be mods, it was people that have been with me literally from like the first few streams, and some of them don't even play the game anymore, and they're still around in like Discord, helping with so much stuff. And I know I wouldn't be anywhere near sort of like where I am now without their help. Like back when I was working full time, they would like manage a Discord for me and all things like that.
That's awesome.
I'm very aware that I need them.
Yeah, the community that you've built is like something else, honestly.
It
Like,
really is.
I don't think I could ever imagine myself even attempting to like do essentially what you've done.
Well, the thing is, I say it's not me, it's them, right? Like,
Oh, shut up!
bro, I'm not even trying to
Take
be
some
humble. I really,
fucking.
bro, as I
Like,
said that,
you're
I
such
cringed.
a
I'm
wuss,
gonna
man.
be.
Just all the fucking time. It's not me, man. Like, I don't
Well, no,
deserve it.
but,
I
like-
don't deserve any success. I've never done anything. It just
No,
kind
but you
of
know what I
comes to
mean.
me.
Like, I don't know. I put a lot of time in Discord. Don't get me wrong. And I think that helped. But they're at the end of the day, they're the they help a
You,
lot. And yeah, a lot
you
of them
crawl
don't even
out of
play
bed
anymore, and
every
they're still
single
around.
fucking morning. You do like you stream every single time, every day, the same time, and then you proceed to then after stream hold events, if not on stream, after stream with your community where you talk to them, interact with them, and make sure that you reply to all of their messages. And yet you're here saying, "Oh, it's just my mod team, bro."
Don't
Shut
start a
up.
domestic, Casper. All right. Well,
Oh,
No,
that's
it's,
awesome. But no, it is a group effort, 100%. I agree with Dino, and I also agree with West Ham. Putting in the work.
I just wish that he could acknowledge the good stuff he does sometimes.
He's just humble, man. He's a humble man. I mean, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to just be a
Nah, fam, secretly he has the biggest ego you've ever seen.
All right, guys, down in the description, we will have both West Ham and Dino's socials, including Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Also, check out their previous episodes if you guys are curious. West Ham's was like a year and a half ago at this point. Dino's was just over a year ago. So if you guys are interested in getting a little bit more content, feel free to click that. But yeah, Dino, West Ham, this was absolutely a blast for me. This was seriously a lot of fun. Thanks for making my morning.
All good, man. It's been a blast to be here. I always enjoy these type of things. There's very few times where I actually get to speak to this guy because he egos me 99% of it. So
he just wishes so bad that you were replaced by skill specs. So it could be me down.
100%, man. You know, like
yeah, like I don't know,
skills
man.
doesn't throw me under the bus like this. You
All
know?
I want over this friendship is just like for him to talk to me a bit more, and he just keeps saying that he prefers other people. So it's just like it is what it is, isn't it? Like.
It's awesome.
For real, thank you for having us. I don't really do that many of these things because I get giga nervous. So it makes it a lot easier having like West Ham as well.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your guys' willingness. Seriously, like it's great for me. This is part of my content where I just like to talk to people. So people that are just you both being very willing to just come on, it's awesome. So thank you guys. But yeah, that's it. So I look forward to Wednesday. I look forward to catching both of your guys' streams and content on the new Wilderness update, the new Wilderness bosses. I'm gonna, who knows, maybe in a little bit, maybe in a year from now or something, or whenever some new Wilderness update comes out, we can have you guys on the post update so we can talk about it rather than just sharing a few predictions that are probably going to be completely wrong when the actual update hits.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And for those listening, if you guys want to support the cast, there's a Patreon link down in the description as well. But that's it from me. Thank you guys very much. Any final words?
Give the man some money. Go to the Patreon.
And be sure to prime to Dino and West Ham. Use your Amazon Primes.
I like it. Just throw all the plugs out. Make sure you subscribe. You know.
All right, guys.
Smash like on the video.
Smash that like button. Everyone, but by now the retention rate's like at like 2%. So we're only talking like 5 people right now. But yeah. Anyway, guys, have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.